So I think this thing is live, but I'm not quite sure. Okay, everything just shifted, so I think it is, and now I'm sure, more sure. They changed this up a little bit, but it looks like I am now. So basically, I want to come on and I want to see what's up with the eights, because y'all know we have an 8/8 Lionsgate portal coming up. You can look at the thumbnail. I'm going to be using a deck and an oracle card. I don't know how many cards I'm gonna. Oh, duh! I'm gonna take the card before and after every 8, including the strength card, strength, justice, and strength, I believe. So 2 strengths and a justice. The first pair, I'm going to be using the energy oracle cards with the Witch's Tarot. For the second pair, I'm going to be using the Kawaii Tarot with the Mirror Truth Lenormand cards. And then for the third pair, I'm going to be using the Archangel Power cards with the Angelarium Oracle of Emanations deck. And then we're going to go in order. I'm going to timestamp these as I go, I guess. And we're just... Oh! Okay, yeah. We're just going to go for it. Let us begin, shall we? It's so interesting on my Legacy channel last night. I was like, I think I want to start teaching in dreams. And then this morning I have a dream. And then I guess I'm like, I never thought like what I would teach in dreams. Turns out I'm probably going to be like the defense against the dark arts teacher. Because whenever I have like spiritual dreams, that's primarily what I do. So, and the dream I had last night was so interesting. And we were like in the gymnasium because some stuff was popping off. And it was like this little sparring thing, and I was like, oof, I was really being given a little run for my money, but I was still holding my own. And then at the end of the dream, that's when I guess we had our first assignment, and that was real interesting. So yeah, I'm basically the Severus Snape of the dream world, or whatever. I don't know. So let's get these a few shuffles. How are y'all doing tonight? How are y'all doing right now? I'm so disconnected from the energy, y'all. I don't know. Like, I know astrologically what's going on, but as far as like how people are taking it, I've been pretty much coasting since for a while now. And so things haven't been too chaotic or crazy for me. But I guess, I don't know. I do want to see where Venus is real quick, because I'm just curious. Excuse me. I do feel like, okay, Aries is in 20 degrees. Oh, snap, we had that conjunction of Venus and the North Node. They're both 28 degrees Gemini right now. Venus is like half a degree past the North Node now. Mercury is officially in Leo. Mercury went into Leo like last night. So Venus and Mercury have switched signs. They've both had an extended stay in the sign that they're in because they both retrograded in it. And then like Mercury is only going to be in Leo for like 2 weeks or something like that. Then Mercury go right into Virgo. I'm like, what? Ooh, cut into the world card. Okay, so I'm gonna give this a few shuffles, and how this works is, again, I'm gonna look around the 8 of Wands, the 8 of Swords, the 8 of Cups, and the 8 of Pentacles. Also, strengthen this deck. Also, I guess the Star, because the Star is also an 8. And we're just gonna pull the card before and after, and then we're gonna look at these and see what's going on over here. So I don't know how long this will take, but I guess I could timestamp this. Well, I'll timestamp it when I actually get started. I knew what that card was. There's one card here. It accidentally fell into some water, and excuse me. So this is how we're gonna do it. That's the 7. Okay. Justice is an 11. Strength, here's the first 8. So we're going to see this. And then this one is going to remain hidden. And that's how we're going to do that. I guess strength doesn't matter too much. That's the major 8, first major 8. the Two of Swords into the Three of Swords. That's interesting. Oh wait, this is another one. So here's the Eight of Cups. We got the King of Wands with the Eight of Cups. Let's see. Hopefully this ain't too long. I just went to the store and they had some teas on sale. They had a whole bunch of stuff on sale in Meyer. I finally found some humex, so I got some guava nectar. They had strawberry nectar. I was slightly intrigued, but also not super into strawberry, so I just got 3 things of guava nectar. It's so good. I'm excited. That's the Eight of Wands. Oh goodness. Ooh, these miners are coming out with some heavy stuff. Ten of Pentacles into the Ten of Swords. The Lovers in the Two of Cups and the Six of Swords and the Hierophant. Interesting. This is another 8. Right? 17, 8. So the Two of Pentacles up here. These are all facing me, so they're going to be in reverse for you, but that's fine. Yeah, that's a 9. I don't know why I always think that the Hermit is an 8. Now the Eight of Pentacles is coming out with the Ace of Wands. So Ace of Swords actually, sorry. So that's really interesting. And then I guess we'll have one left. And I'll put it here. I wanted to fit them all down here. Let's see. I like the way you look at me. We'll make it work. If it hasn't already come out with another... What am I looking for? The Eight of Swords. Have I seen the Eight of Swords? Woo! Thank you. Don't come out with a good one, please. Don't come like the Eight of Swords and the Sun or something like that. Okay, so I don't think we're going to get the Eight of Swords. So it's already down here somewhere. Let me make sure I didn't miss it. Sometimes I kind of space out a little bit. And then I end up passing up the card I was looking for. And these are like some of my smallest cards, so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I didn't see it. Not 100% sure that I got every card, because y'all know sometimes. Yeah, so the Ace of Swords, the Eight of Swords is down here somewhere. My guess, looking at this, is it might be with that Strength card. And the Eight of Swords with Strength would actually be pretty lovely, because then maybe it's like, you know, we'd be having the strength to get out of that, or I guess our strength could be tied up in there. So we're going to go ahead and do a little bit of rearranging. Just a little bit of rearrangement. We're going to give this a few shuffles and take the top, the middle, and the bottom of the deck. We'll do the top and the bottom and like face down with the middle revealed. Now these actually have some reversals in them. One more. Okay. Yes, this is as good a one as any. Strategy. Okay. So this first deck that's coming up with the strategy, bottom of the deck is 4th Chakra Archangel Raphael. So we got Raphael at the bottom of the deck. We have the 10 of Cups at the bottom of the deck, which is interesting. I guess the bottom of the deck would have been somewhere else, but that's fine. Oh yeah, it is, because I never saw the Eight of Swords. So that's why the Ten of Cups ended up back here. It would be the Ten of Cups or that Queen of Swords. No, those were like the first ones that came out. Yeah, the Ten of Cups was at the bottom. Duh. Because I felt it down there. I was like, oh, I know what that is. So the Ten of Cups and this Raphael Archangel 4th chakra. I'm going to go, oh, it's 11-11. Look at that. Boom. 11-11. Hey, and that's a 4. Why am I thinking about 4s? I don't know. We're going to say this is like 10-55. 11:00. 11 minutes. Hey, if this is where you join me, my name is Patrick. This is Real Karuk. Today we're looking at where the 8s are. Oh, I was going to show myself, but that's fine because it's about the cards. I was going to be like, no, I didn't get a haircut. I just deep conditioned my hair, so it's a little flat right now. It's just amazing like what a deep condition can do to just like knock out some of those knots just like organically. I'm like, yes. I went to the store with a plastic bag on my head, but I had my little silk bonnet thing on top of that. So anyway, into this. So what we're doing today is we're looking before and after the 8, all of the 8s. So we have the minors down here. The 8s that we saw are the 8 of Cups, the 8 of Wands, and the 8 of Pentacles. We have the Star card and the Strength card. Strength is going to be the 8 in every deck except for the last one. In that deck, Justice is the 8. And Strength is the 11. I think that's like a difference between a Thoth base and a Rider-Waite-Smith base, but it could also be something different. That's one of the key differences between them. And so let's get into this. Where do we want to start? Let's start with strategy. Then we'll look at these, and then we'll come back and look at those two. And I have this in here, so let's go ahead and read from Le Book. This is a 21. Yep, 21. Number 12 I was getting a lot, and 12 might be the Temple Path, maybe? Now I'm curious. Let's see what 12 is real quick. Yeah, 12 is the Temple Path. Because I was like, well, it was the only card I was getting like every single time I picked up this deck. So it had to be the Temple Path. So 21, strategy. This is making a plan. This card shows a pen, journal, compass, and key. When you receive this card upright, it indicates that this is the optimum time for setting up a very specific strategy for achieving your goals. Write about the direction you want to go in. Consider any potential change in course that may be needed. Be aware of the particulars regarding your goals and have some conscious plan in mind. Structure the short-term goals needed to make your long-term goal a reality. This card is telling you to spend some time setting things in order. It's time to take full control. Add thought to action and set your sights on the road ahead. So I kind of sort of like that. Because I feel like it is about a strategy, but it's less strategic than I thought it would be. It's more about sort of like knowing where you'd like to go in the end and then sort of coming up with some intermediary steps. And so maybe instead of like writing it all down and writing it all out, it's just like, where do you want to be by the end and what do you need to have to get there? Because then it's like, I feel like it would be a little bit easier to maybe see how some things that don't necessarily carry you all the way will still benefit you in some way, right? It's like this ain't taking me all the way to Texas, but it'll take me to like Nevada. And then, from Nevada, we'll go up to Oregon. And then from Oregon, we'll go down to Tennessee. And then I'll find somebody that goes from Tennessee to Texas. Now, you could be like, why would you go all over the country when, like, if your first stop is Nevada, then I would just sort of redirect my own course and go straight to Texas from there. But I wouldn't advise that for reasons that you'll find out. So with the Strength card, we have the Five of Pentacles, and the Five of Pentacles is about being left out in the cold. Now this energy is around the 8-8 portal. And what's the last portal that we had where people were like, this is a thing? It might have been like 444. Because it was like for the 7-7, like no one was really talking about that. I don't think anybody was talking about 6-6. And on 5-5, the node shifted. And again, I guess I'm not like extremely connected to everything. But this could be around this time. What could be open to us? Maybe strength could be like what we do, and then the star could be like what's given or granted. Well, let's look at it. So we start with the Five of Pentacles, and the hidden card is the Eight of Swords. Didn't I? Oh my gosh, I love that. I love that. I was like, oh, it would be so cool if the Eight of Swords is with the Strength card, and then here it is. Because I think this has given us the strength to break free of what sort of binds and imprisons us. But this is step one. Step one is, oh, this little cord. I'm not going to touch it because then it'll mess up the camera. Step one is getting out of this. And I feel like we successfully get out of this by realizing and recognizing some things. The first thing you need to realize and recognize is that the universe, God, spirit, it's always working for you, never against. And so if you come into a moment of hardship, there's something that can be gained there. Now this, I know this is irrelevant, but the shirt that I'm wearing right now is super annoying because it has a tag in the back. And then there's this seam along my shoulder. And there's like a random second tag. Like right here. And I'm like, why does this shirt have two tags? I wonder if somebody made it and they thought that this was going to be the back of the shirt. And then it wasn't. So I got two tags in this shirt. I don't know, but it's that second tag that really like rubs up against my shoulder. So also, if you have like a chip on your shoulder, it may be time to knock that off. Something about the ego here. There's something about the ego here. Not wanting to admit maybe that this Five of Pentacles thing happened. It's like you had a strategy. You were going along with it. You hit Nevada. Didn't want to go from Oregon to Tennessee to Texas. And so from Nevada, you found your way to Texas. But now you're finding out why you should have gone to Oregon, at least to Oregon. Right? Because you don't know necessarily about Tennessee. All you know is you get to Nevada and then you feel led to somebody else and that person's like, oh, I'm going to Oregon. Like, why don't you come with? First of all, it's not even that they're going to Oregon. Like, first you two meet and then you're like, oh my gosh, like this is the person that's going to sort of take me further. And so you're like, hey, where are you going? And they're like, Oregon. And you're like, Oregon? You ain't going to Texas? I'm like, no, what would I go to Texas for? What's in Texas? And it's like, oh, like, don't you, like, aren't you feeling led to go to Texas? Everything's bigger in Texas. The stars at night are big and bright, right? And they're like, no, I'm going to Oregon. And you're like, but I thought you were supposed to take, that's fine, that's cool, whatever. I'll just go to Texas. And so you went to Texas, and now you're wishing that you would have stopped by Oregon first, because there's something that you pick up along the way. And that's why I personally advise just going where you feel led instead of just going where you want to go. Because then you learn all the stuff along the way. And you ain't looking kind of sort of like, you know, little boo-boo to foo-foo when you get there and you don't have whatever you're supposed to have. And so, but I think that's kind of sort of the chip on your shoulder right here. That little bit of ego that you don't want to admit to yourself. But this, again, it's one of the things that you know you need to let go of. Or maybe you don't know, but it's one of the things that you need to let go of. And then we'll come down here, and then we'll end here, and then we'll start right there. So when it comes to the Eight of Cups, talking about something that you need to let go of, I mean, exactly, this King of Wands, that ego, that's Leo energy. So leave that behind, and then go towards the moon. And what's interesting is they both kind of sort of have a wand. And so it isn't for you to completely, let me just do it this way. It isn't for you to completely disregard that ego. There we go. But now the wand is lit over here in the dark. I think this is an elevation in trust and someone learning to trust in a lot of things. Because again, it's like you get to Texas realizing that you should have gone to Oregon first. And you're like, well, my strategy was to go right to Texas. So how was I supposed to know that Oregon was a stop? And then the divine is like, well, you knew though, didn't you? When you saw that person, you knew that you met for a reason, for longer than just like a cool person that you randomly meet one day. You were supposed to go to Oregon. And again, it's that question of like, well, how am I supposed to know? Like, the divine done this, the divine done did that, they done lied to me, and it's like but you knew. Like, just because you don't trust it, just because you don't go with it, doesn't mean that like the path is anything except but what it was. And so I feel like there's some control issues over here, but it doesn't feel like raw. I mean, I guess a lot of control issues aren't just like raw control issues. And it's interesting we have the star up here, but the moon right here. So the Eight of Wands is the Tower. We're going to sort of look at all this and then try to put it together. The Eight of Wands is coming out with the Tower. And the Tower is a 16-7. So here we have 8-9 and then 7-8. And then we have Judgment, Apocalypse. Or no, it's not. It's Karma in this deck. We have Karma, and it's that solary. Oops, okay, well, oh goodness. This is why I be missing cards sometimes, y'all. They just be flying all over the place. Hello, girl, that was not necessary. So now the Karma is in reverse. Yeah, I was going to say, I think it was that solar eclipse that we just had in Cancer. And with that going in reverse, it's already passed. Somebody may be locked into a tower. It's either you're avoiding this tower or you're locked into the eventuality of it. And I love that we have the Eight of Cups here, and then the Tower is over here. So just like strength being with the Eight of Swords, I feel like that could be giving you the strength to break free of this, or once you break free of this, you attain the strength that this situation is here to give you. Now, if the Eight of Cups would have come out with the Tower revealed, it could have been like, oh, you escaped from this tower before it happens. With the Tower happening here and then going into this karma, you may be approaching a cycle that you've already completed. And if you are strong enough within yourself, you will recognize that, oh my gosh, okay. So over here you get to Texas and you realize you should have went to Oregon. So now you're trying to get to Oregon, but you don't. It's like, I don't know if you necessarily want to go to the divine, or you don't want to be like, yeah, I should have did that. I made a mistake. I effed up. Whatever. Blah blah blah. You just gonna do whatever you can do, sort of like in the dark, right? Because it's kind of about saving face a little bit. And so now you go to Oregon, but you're supposed to be heading to Tennessee now, right? And so it's like you're gonna get this same test that you got in Nevada. I said Nevada, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I said Nevada. You're gonna get the same test you had in Nevada, but it's gonna be different. Because originally you were going to Texas, now you believe you're supposed to be going to Oregon, but you're actually supposed to be going to Tennessee. And so you're gonna meet someone going to Tennessee. It's gonna play out the same way it played out the first time. And they're gonna be like, you like, hey, like, are you going to Oregon? They're like, Oregon, like, who's in Oregon? Potatoes? And like, potatoes, girl, that's Idaho. What you talking about? Like, well, what's the difference? Ah! You're like, well, first of all, Oregon is like coastal, girl, and it's beautiful. And Idaho got potatoes. They're different. And it was like, oh, no, like, I'm going to Tennessee. It's like, Tennessee? Like, what's in Tennessee? Nashville's in Tennessee. um, other things. And you're like, well, let me get back to you. And then you meet somebody else who's going to Oregon. Now, nothing about the person going to Oregon now says that that's where you're supposed to go, besides the fact that they're going to the place that you should have already been to. And I think that's what this karma in this tower is. It's like either you're going to go to Oregon, get there, and realize, boom, it's this tower, or you're going to take the lesson and you're going to go to Tennessee, and then it's going to turn this karma from upright to in reverse. Well, it's in reverse for me. And that's the thing about tests sometimes is like they may not necessarily come back exactly the same. Like I've taken enough sort of makeup tests that whenever I do, I know that it's like an alternate version or the questions on the test may be slightly different or something. And they do that so that, like, you know, if you know somebody who took the first test, they're not giving you the answer, so that when you take the makeup test, or it could be where they change the questions a little bit so that you don't just study the answers from the first time you took the test, so that you actually kind of sort of get the information. Because what's most important is that you get the information and the experience that you're supposed to get, not necessarily that you get the right answer. And so let's say you successfully complete that, because with the 8 of Pentacles, you got this Ace of Swords, and you're like, oh, haha, like, that's how I ended up in Texas the first time. So you're going to dip before this tower falls, and you are going to prove that you have completed these karmic cycles, and interesting. It's almost like you're following somebody and you don't even know it. And I say that because we have the moon with this King of Wands, right? So something is uncertain here. And then with this clarity comes out with the Queen of Wands, interestingly enough. And this is something gained. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Just popped into my mind. And it's like, well, you've already gone on the venture, so you might as well gain something from it, right? And so now it's like, all of this is to lead you to your power. This doesn't necessarily have to be somebody else. This could be you coming into your feminine side, and you coming into your feminine side could just be you tapping into giving more credit to that intuitive side of you, to the side of you that's connected to all that there is. It's like you have a part of you connected to the inside, and you have a part of you connected to the outside. And the part of you connected to the outside is the masculine, is the way that you navigate throughout the world. The part of you connected to the inside is the feminine, and it's kind of sort of what, like, it's the light that you emanate. And so it's like the Queen of Wands draws things to her, and the King of Wands goes out and he gets the things. And so maybe you're going to be learning about your attractive potential. You could also, like I said, it's like you could be realizing and recognizing that you always attract to you the exact opportunity that you need, but it may not necessarily come in the way that you initially sort of strategized and planned it. And that's why I think if you break down, like it talked about the minor goals, if you break down the little things first, or if you break down why you think Texas is your end goal, you may realize that there are these other stops along the way that will make Texas, that will like put you in prime position to go to Texas and be big. Oh, snap, Bloomin' Rose, girl, I ain't even see you. I'm so sorry, Bloomin'. Oh, I'm only like a minute late. How are you doing? How you doing? I miss you too. We're looking to see what's up with the 8s is what we're doing right now. And we're in the first deck with the first Oracle card. And so I think this is going to bring a lot of insight to you. I think it's like after you realize this again, it's like you might recognize that like your whole life you've kind of sort of been attracting things. And then with the Star card is the 2 of Pentacles. So the star with the Two of Pentacles to me says that you have everything within you to leverage the fulfillment of whatever this is. I know the chat is like all like I'm looking forward. My laptop is off to the side, and then the chat is on the right side of that. So you're great. Glad to hear it. I know that the energies are a little. You're an Aquarius, right? So we just had the full moon in your sign. So 8 is your life path number. Oh wow, that's a number of abundance and stuff. But I think it can also be karmic, um, or involve a lot of lessons and a lot of learning. But it's like abundance. I personally don't know how I feel about the number 8. I feel like 8 is a trap, but it's fine. Because it's like with the 8, you never escape that loop. It's like you just keep going and looping and looping and looping. But also with the 8, I've been feeling it lately as the intersection of like two worlds, kind of. I need to cut my nails, they're getting a little long. And so it's like you have this one and you have this one, and we bring it together. And so I know 6 is supposed to be like prime harmony. But I guess it's like this space of in between. So it can kind of sort of be like, not like a mediumship, but like a, when you're operating at the veil. And maybe that's why the 8 is so abundant. Because it's like you can tap into that area from the physical and not leave it. You can kind of sort of exist and occupy both. Right. Yeah. It's been real interesting. I've been thinking about lots of stuff. Okay. So how are you feeling with that full moon in your sign? Oh, I'll be getting a Pisces full moon next month. I wonder how I'm gonna feel. I wonder what degree it's gonna be in too. I don't know. Yup. I'm a life path 7 myself. I'm just glad that I'm not a life path 1. But I'm coming out. I'm coming out of that. So with this 2 of Pentacles, I feel like with the star, it's like you have everything within you to leverage whatever it is you want. But with this, it's like you don't recognize the role that you play. Excuse me, or the opportunity. It's like you don't, and that's kind of sort of here. You weren't recognizing the opportunity when you got it. So I don't want to say like introduce more spirituality, but again, it's about coming into the awareness of the truth of your femininity, your feminine side, your more intuitive side, your more connected side. Because again, both of these are the suit of wands. So I feel like they both get what they want. Maybe you're learning that you don't have to work so hard. You don't have to power through everything. And I think this karma, either upright or in reverse, is going to be you either trying to make everything go your way with this King of Wands, or it's going to be you being a little bit more open to the flow and knowing that, like I said, like, you'd always be getting there. With this 2 of Pentacles is the High Priestess. So exactly. Once you realize that, it's like, and look, that's what I was talking about. That's the 8. You see the 8, the balance of the 2 worlds. With this High Priestess, it's like, yeah, let me reach over into that spiritual plane and just, pour that over here real quick. And like, okay, so if you want this is interesting. So again, that's the Texas thing, right? It's like, we know you want to go to Texas, but there's a reason why you're feeling led to go to Texas that we can't necessarily tell you right now, because that's part of the surprise. All we can tell you is that it might not necessarily be a straight shot. And so it's like, okay, I'll go to Oregon. All right, I'll go to Tennessee, and then from Tennessee, well, first it's Nevada, and then it was Oregon, then it was Tennessee, and then it was Texas. And so there's something that you pick up by the time you get there that's like amazing. Amazing. Agitated with the moon. It brings out your darker, more confrontational side. Ooh. The Queen of Swords is out, y'all. She out. Don't mess with her. Don't mess with her. She ain't in the mood. You know what I dislike though? I dislike when like people know that you obviously in your like Queen of Swords, King of Swords, whatever type energy, because they see that sword on your hip unsheathed, and then they try you anyway. Like, oh, let me see what I can get away with. She look mad. Let me stop. Let me stop. Well, I hope it all calms down for you. I guess with the sun opposing you, it's not great. Now Mercury is going to be opposing you because Mercury just went into Leo, but Mercury is only going to be there for like 2 weeks. So if you can keep it cool for 2 weeks, then maybe it'll calm down a little bit. You have a deep heart, yeah, and I love that. My dad is an Aquarius, and things get a little interesting sometimes, but you can tell. I feel like he gotta have like Scorpio in his chart somewhere. I just feel like it. But yeah, with the High Priestess here, I feel like this is also the recognition. But like I said, it's like you've always sort of been put in prime position to get what it is that you want. But you may not have recognized it. I think with this Two of Pentacles and the High Priestess, this could be you recognizing that Spirit knows what you truly want, knows how to give it to you, and that you just need to align with it and to go with the flow a little bit. It's not to give up the things that you desire, but it's to not have so much control over the pathway there. Because what you don't want to do is involve yourself in a situation that you're not supposed to be in, only to have this tower moment fall apart. And then it's like it sets you back up here to this trapped feeling with this Five of Pentacles. Like, why am I always left on the outside? And it's like, well, why can't you just do what you know you're supposed to do? Anyway. Been told yourself by Spirit to keep your mouth shut. Done that already. Hey. Yeah. When Mercury first went into Cancer, and when Mercury was on top of my Mars, I was like, oof. I was real hot. I was real heated. But let's see where we end up. So top of the deck is, oh wow, I love this. The Angel of Balance. And then the bottom of the deck is the Angel of Love. 48 and 49, the Angel of Balance and the Angel of Love coming in with this strategy. I love that it's two angels. Because again, I feel like that's part of the recognition here. And I think the thing about balance is sometimes when we go about getting things, we don't necessarily go about it in a sustainable way. Right? And so that's sort of this roundabout path. It's because we pick up things that it's like, Texas, for whatever reason, is where you really, really, really want to be. And it's like then you get there and things don't work out, so you got to go back home. And it's like, well, if you delay the arrival to your final destination a little bit longer, and if you pick up these things, when stuff goes down in Texas, you'll already have acquired these other things to kind of sort of like be okay and not have to give up and go back. So I'm going to read these two, and then we'll see where this ended. We got 48 and 49. That's a 12 and a 13 or something like that, right? 48. The Angel of Balance. Oh, I love this. I love this. Being centered and self-honoring in your choices. Being self-honoring in your own choices. And I think that's something else here. Because again, in the space of this ego, sometimes it's like a bruised ego can keep you from apologizing, or it can keep you from admitting that you're wrong and doing the things that you know you need to do. And so that would be a decision that's not self-honoring. That would be like ego honoring or something like that. You're honoring or making decisions from a part of yourself that it's like it's very easy to manipulate. Because it's like if your ego is this big, all you have to do is miss an opportunity one time and you'll never go back to it. Right? It's like, oh, like that ship already sailed. I'm not going back. I don't want to be perceived as weak. I don't want to be perceived as this. I don't want to be perceived as that. So I'm just going to move on with my life. And then you may kind of sort of be hitting these constant redirections back to this one area to get something. And so now you might be going, instead of Nevada, Oregon, Tennessee, Texas, you might be going to Tennessee now, but then heading back to Oregon and then going from Oregon to Texas. But anyway, it's like there may be certain things that you are now realizing and recognizing are for you, but if your ego is too big, if you have too much pride that you won't go back, you might keep hitting these constant redirections, but you might be hitting a wall, or you might hit a wall later. So, self honoring in your choices. When I first read that, I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. This loving presence holds a pitcher of liquid light in front of the pyramids, reminding you that a strong destiny relies on a solid foundation of personal balance and emotional equanimity. Although things may have been out of sync in the past, this card is telling you that a greater equilibrium is now coming to your life. Remain conscious about how you are balancing your goals and your physical and emotional energy as well. Whenever you feel yourself getting off center or losing focus, call upon this beautiful angel and bring her intention into your heart center. Your intuition will lead you in the right direction, and the angel will guide you to a peaceful and centered approach. A peaceful and centered approach with the High Priestess and this Two of Pentacles. I love it. Because in this Two of Pentacles, he isn't necessarily juggling them, right? He's just kind of sort of holding them. I love it. Yeah. And I feel like that's like I said something about having control issues here, and I was like, I feel like they're not raw control issues, but I was like, a lot of times when people have control issues, it isn't or not a lot of times. Sometimes when people have control issues, it isn't necessarily the case that like they want to rule everything. It could be something that like they want to prevent from happening or prevent something from happening again, right? And so maybe that's why I'm like personally, I don't like roller coasters because if I decide that I don't want to be on the ride anymore, it's like I can't just get off. I can't just be like, all right, stop the roller coaster. I want to get off. I don't like this. You're like you're on it until the ride is over, and I don't necessarily like that. So I don't actually know if I like roller coasters or not. I just don't like not being able to get off of the ride if I don't like it. And like all rides are like that, but roller coasters in particular, I'm like, no, I'm good. I pass. Yeah, and that's the thing about it, and that also takes me back to it was about a year ago. I realized that there were some things that, again, that it helps you survive when you're a child, but when you get older, and like you said, when you were humbled, and it made you realize how fragile you were. There come these times where we sort of like we have to it's like we recenter and reground ourselves upon a new foundation because that old foundation doesn't really it doesn't serve to get us where we want to go. It's like we sort of hit the point where we outgrow that shell, and so we have to discard it. Blooming be on it. Yup. The affirmation here is I live a balanced and centered life. As I care for myself, the universe cares for me also. Now, coming into the angel of love, this is tender connections. This beautiful angel comes with roses in her hair and rose colored wings. She holds a rose quartz heart, radiating tender and loving vibrations, bringing you compassion and affection. If you're looking for new love, this angel brings a message of its upcoming approach. Or if you're longing for a deeper, more intimate connection with someone already in your life, she's here to say that far greater tenderness is available to you. Either way, remember that your first intention for tenderness must be directed inward. and the compassion that you demonstrate toward yourself will influence the energetic potential of these events in a significant way. The angel of love is smiling on you and forging connections in the energetic realm. The affirmation here is, I love and value myself without limitation or condition. Tender, loving treatment comes to me in wonderful and unexpected ways. And so with everything that we're talking about, I think I low key got something with abandonment a little bit. I do. Not low key. Like high key, I do. I did for a while. Um but I had the opportunity to work through that um honestly within the past few years. I'd say especially since 2018. It would have been like May, like spring 2018. I got the introduction to that lesson. Um, and I used to like hate goodbyes and stuff like that. And I had like low key an abandonment issue. And then I had my one friend who was like, "Oh, like just because I move or just because I'm leaving, don't mean like we ain't still gonna hang out, and then I'm not gonna come visit every now and then, and blah blah blah." I ain't seen that man. I ain't talked to that man, but like what, once every 2 to 3 months, and I'm like, dude, you said we were still gonna be connected. Like, why are you doing this to me? And then I got over it, and I was like, but like you shouldn't have told me that you would do this if you weren't gonna do it. But it's fine. I ended up getting over it. Yeah. I mean, it was only really 2 years ago for me too. Um, because like that would have been like May 20. Wait, was that 2018 or 27? May 2018. Because 16, 17, and then 17, 18. So yeah, May 2018 would have been when he moved. So it's only been like 2 years for me too. Um, but the thing about this is, with whatever this is, you could be really prickly right now. And maybe the detour is gonna like smooth out your edges to the point that if this is about love, you would be balanced and centered enough within yourself that you wouldn't be um, you'd be less prickly. You'd be more receptive to what it is that you actually want. And because again, at the bottom of the deck, it's exactly that. Bottoms of the deck, fourth chakra, Archangel. Is that a man holding a heart? No, he holding a coin in reverse. We got Archangel Raphael, fourth chakra, and then we got the Ten of Cups at the bottoms of the deck. I think that's what this detour is about. It's about making you a little less prickly so that you can accept what this is. And so that you also don't project Six of Cups in the Hierophant. So you don't sort of project things into this space that aren't necessarily there. So it's like not only is the divine, because again, it's like everything you want. So it's not necessarily just the opportunities, it's also love. But the thing about the divine is it's always a journey to get you to accept what it is at that final destination. I don't think the divine is necessarily too keen on just thrusting you into situations that you're not prepared for and just like, oh, well, you screwed that one up, didn't you? It's like I feel like there's more often than not an element of preparation for it. You may not necessarily, and again, with that moon card, you may not necessarily know what you're being prepared for, but know that it's happening in unexpected ways. So, yeah. Oof. I love that. I love that. So we're going to get a final message, and then we're going to move on to the second deck. And we'll see what comes out over there. Seven of Cups. Bottom of the deck is the Six of Swords. So I feel like you may be coming on that time again with that karma card where it's like just to make sure you got the lesson or just to make sure you know what it is that you need to know. You're going to be getting that person going to Oregon and then a person going to Tennessee. And Tennessee is where you're supposed to be going now. Oregon is where you were supposed to already have been. And with these options, it's like sometimes we're tempted for a reason, right? It's part of the test. Sometimes we get tested in ways like that. And that's why it's like, everything kind of sort of happens with the permission of the divine. Or a lot of things happen with the permission of the divine. But the divine signs off on it as a means to get you to see whatever it is that you need to see to free yourself in that situation. All right, final message, please. The Angel of Strength, number 50. I think that's all the angels. The Angel of Balance, the Angel of Love, and the Angel of Strength. Bottom of the deck is in reverse, second chakra, Archangel Ariel. So with Archangel Ariel being in reverse, and with the Angel of Strength being here, it may be whatever this option is. It could be something that is very enticing, I will say. But you should always sort of look to see if it's aligned with you. I'm actually going to read this before I put it back. Talk to that one today. Ended it, mended it, amended it, or ended it. Oh snap, Blooming, you always be on it though, girl. I got this mango hibiscus tea. It's so good. It's like hibiscus and chamomile teas though don't really taste like anything to me. Oh, you cut him out. Ended it. Okay, gotcha. Cut him out. Ooh, yeah. Well, it sounds like you in exactly the type of energy you need to be in. Then I feel like it isn't necessarily always easy, um, but it's kind of sort of the season that we're in right now. I feel like we're getting really, really, really close to the dispensable. The dispersal. There we go. We're getting really close to the dispersal of a lot of these things. So we may be hitting these like final tests. And when you know when you know where you stand, where you're going, you're solid in your connection, and you have that internal sort of meter of like, does this vibe with me? Does this not vibe with me? It doesn't necessarily make things easier, but in the long run, we see that payout. So, Angel of Strength. This is personal power and inner strength. This amazing angel brings the news that this is a time of increasing power for you. It's not the time to be passive or submissive, but to speak your truth and take action on your own behalf. You are capable of taking greater control and directing your own destiny, for the power that comes from within reaches out to the universe and beyond. Talking about that 8. Inner strength and unlimited resourcefulness flow through you at this time, helping you to create real results. Call upon this wonderful angel and on your own inner resourcefulness to bring you the focus and resolve to do what's necessary in order to make your dreams a reality. The affirmation here is, deep within me is an abiding strength that knows no bounds. I have all the power I need to achieve all that I want. And yeah, that's all the angels. Angel of balance, angel of strength, angel of love. Ooh, that's exciting. I didn't pick one, but okay, word. Let that. You're not getting younger. I love it. Yeah. I'm glad that you were able to do that for yourself though. And again, it's not, sometimes it is really difficult for us to do the things that we know we need to do for ourselves and to like liberate us and to move on from things, especially if there is like attachment there or if like there is our emotions there or something like that. It's not always easy, but at the end of the day, we kind of sort of have to love and care about ourselves selves enough to really do that for us. So, oof. All right, let's see what's over here. I'm gonna take 2 Lenormands because I love reading. Well, no, we're gonna get 3, top, middle, and bottom, because I love reading these in combination. So this is gonna be for number 2. Starting it up. Are there reversals in this? There might be. Yeah, there are. Okay. I ain't really used the Kawaiis in a minute. I use like a few decks reliably. Now the Lenormands I take all upright. Lenormand. Okay. So we'll give this one a few shuffles and then we'll see where we end up. We're going to be looking at all the 8s again. I'm pretty sure in this deck, strength is an 8. If it's not, we'll be looking for justice, which is fine. And the star is like always at 17. Oh, well, there's the 8 of wands with the 5 of wands. That's 13 wands. That's a 4. Oh, what card is that? The 9 of pentacles with the 8 of wands. Okay. We go this one more. That was the 8 of swords. We seeing all the 8s we're looking for. Alright. First card out is the Queen of Pentacles. Oh, I kind of got to pay attention. Oh, wait, that's our 8 of Cups. Oh, the Magician with the 8 of Cups. That's interesting. Hey, the 8 of Cups was the first one out last time, too, wasn't it? It was the 8 of Cups and then the 8 of Wands and then the 8 of Pentacles. Well, there's the 9. The 9 is a Hermit. Yep, here we go. So we got Strength in reverse. Oh, goodness. Now, the significators don't necessarily mean anything too much by themselves, I think. We'll see. Who did? Here's the star. Okay. Empress in reverse, though. What's up with them 8s? Crazy 8s. That's the 9 of swords. There's the 8 of wands. Look, are these going to come out in the same order again? The 8 of cups first, then the 8 of wands. Well, we'll see if the 8 of swords is... That's the 7. Nope, we got the 8 of swords that came out. Oh, wait, these go on top. And so last but not least, we're looking for the 8 of pennies, the 8 of spendies. We got the Pentacles, these Pentacles. On something that you like. Get yourself something nice, why don't ya? And here we go, the 8 of pennies. with the Queen of Cups in reverse. This goes on to... I'm slipping into the fire. Is it fire or lava? That burning up song from Camp Rock just popped into my head. And I'm trying to keep from going under. I'm burning up for you, baby. I'm hot, you're cold. You go around like you know. I ain't talked to my one friend in a minute. She was like crazy about the Jonas Brothers in middle school. Oh, she was cool. She looks just like her sister. Oh my gosh, they could be twins. She just had a baby like a year ago, I think. Okay. So, bottom of the deck is going to be the Emperor in reverse, and the Empress is in reverse. And we're just going to slide these under here. What was next is that Tower. So, interesting. And I'm trying to keep from going under. I'm burning up for you, baby. I'm high. Ooh, the cross in the ring. Oh, holy union. Okay. Top, bottom. Well, that's really close to the bottom, but we'll do it. Ooh, crossroads. Bottom of the deck is the lady. A lady at a crossroads. Lady, crossroads, Empress in reverse. Hey, with the Emperor in reverse. Hey. It's like, well, at least maybe you're on the same page? Question mark. We'll see. So let's go ahead and get this timestamp and the phone. One colon 02:27. It's been a whole hour already. Okay, so for the second group, so y'all chose the Kawaii Tarot. Chose as if you can't watch all of these. If you chose this one, then here you are. My name is Patrick. Welcome on in. So we're looking at what's going on with the 8s right now because we're coming up on this 8-8 portal in a 4 year, which is a 2020 year, which is a 22 year. And so we're just going to look at all the 8s and we're going to see what's up. The 8 of Cups is about, leaving one thing behind and moving forward. The 8 of Wands is like quick, rapid movement, action, news, communication. The 8 of Swords is an area that you may be a little stuck in. And then the 8 of Pentacles is something that you need to devote maybe a little bit more time, energy, or effort to. Also, we have the majors of Strength and the Star. Strength is actually in reverse. So not quite yet sure what that means, if it means anything. With Strength being in reverse, though, this may sort of be maybe like a time for you to dig your heels in and find it within yourself more often, or not more often, more so than like with Strength being upright. I feel like that's really getting some assistance. Maybe with Strength in reverse, it's like kind of sort of, it's like you didn't act when you could have. And what's also interesting is that the Empress is in reverse over here. And then the 3 of Wands is in reverse right here. And in this deck, we got Hearts on Sticks, right? And they're both 3s. So you could be seeing like 332, 334. Like right off of 333 or 313 or 323 or 331 or 133. Anyway, maybe 334, 334. Why not? What's this? What's the lady? The lady is a 29, so that's actually an 11. There's the fish behind the lady, maybe a fish lady. Ladies in reverse. Wait, I don't do Lenormand's in reverse. What am I doing? I do Lenormand's upright only. But we also have, we're starting at this crossroads up here. And then there's kind of sort of a 33 in this crossroad, right? It's like here's a 3, and then here's another 3 reversed, and then like that would be another one. I never felt a 3 like that, but it could be. Because 3s are catalytic numbers, right? And so there are things that happen to us to change us for some reason. Or it's about coming together with something else to make something completely new. But it's like the new isn't happening. It's almost like not like a false start, but it's like when you're trying to light a lighter and it just won't light. But we'll get into this and we'll see. Oh, boop, judgment upright. This is interesting. There may be some like misdirected anger, frustration over here because with the 3 of Wands in reverse, I feel like that's you kind of sort of going for something, but not maybe not necessarily going about getting it the right way. Also with judgment upright, it's like projecting everything instead of accepting. Okay, I don't think you're accepting the part that you play in whatever this is. And that's why we have so many reversals. That's why the Empress is in reverse, I feel like, as well. Because it's like with the 3 of Wands in reverse but judgment upright, I feel like you could be blaming a lot of other people for why it is that you don't have whatever it is that you feel entitled to or that you deserve. And with the Empress here, I don't think it's that you actually don't deserve it. Again, you may just not be going about getting it the right way or something like that. Maybe maybe you don't navigate crossroad or decision in a way that actually aligns with what you want. The energy that we approach something with is the energy that it carries. And you may be approaching it with an energy that you don't actually want it to have. And then that's why strength would be in reverse. It's like you're not taking accountability for the part that you play in it. And when you don't take accountability for your part in something, it's kind of sort of hard to really take claim to your personal power. Because it's like you never take responsibility for what you do. So it's like how are you supposed to claim your power if you don't? You know what I mean? So maybe start by looking in the mirror because we have the Magician here with the 8 of Cups. So it's like we're leaving that Magician behind and then we're coming to the 3 of Pentacles in reverse. You may also, it's not that you don't trust people, but with the 3 of Pentacles in, like the Magician with the 3 of Pentacles in reverse is like I'll do everything myself type of energy. And I don't think that's going to serve you right now. No one, like, we don't live in a vacuum, we don't create in a vacuum. So there's always an element of needing to look at how we impact and affect people and how people impact and affect us and not overly blaming other people. Also, I feel like we may not be taking responsibility for what we do because someone else like did it to us first. It's like this is you doing to other people what someone did to you, but instead of looking at how you impact and affect other people, you're so you focused that you don't even see it. People may not even people may not even really want to work with you, honestly. And that's not necessarily good for this energy, I don't believe. We got one queen upright and then one queen in reverse. The Queen of Wands upright, but the Queen of Cups is in reverse. Yeah, people may not necessarily want to work with you. You may be like super confrontational. Um, and it's like we kind of got to smooth you out a little bit. And it isn't necessarily, it's like we don't necessarily have to compromise who we are, but we should be able to work with other people, right? But again, it feels like there's something in you that maybe not don't like you don't even fully necessarily trust people. Maybe you've never met Some like maybe it is the case that you've been taken advantage of a lot in the past. And so you're like, okay, well, if this is the game that everyone else is going to play, I'm going to play the same game, but I'm going to play it better. But when you play this game better, it actually, like, it's worse. And again, the Emperor is also in reverse. This is definitely like a Queen of Swords in reverse type energy. But also like, well, maybe not. The Queen of Swords doesn't necessarily have to be in reverse. But like if the Queen of Swords is upright, then the Queen of Pentacles would be in reverse. And if the Queen of Pentacles is upright, then the Queen of Swords would be in reverse. Because there's something there that isn't quite lining up. And again, with the Empress in reverse and this Three of Wands in reverse, it's like when I said the energy that we put towards getting something is the energy that it carries when we get it. You're not coming at it with the right energy. With the Eight of Wands, we have the Five of Wands in reverse and the Three of Cups upright. Excuse me. This could be the space of apologies that you need to make. And I feel like it's not, like it is an apology, but it may not even necessarily be a straight up apology. Like, because if you're like this, and if you hurt someone who's close to you, I feel like they may understand why it is that you're like this, but when you don't see why you're like this, then it's like you won't change. And I think that's the part that really rubs people the wrong way. I don't think, like, I think people sort of, like, I think people respect you. Right? It's definitely giving me, like, Miranda Priestley vibes, and I just talked about The Devil Wears Prada, like, the other day. It's definitely giving me the vibes of her. And so it's like nothing, and like, because this Queen of Wands is upright, so it's not unwarranted, the space that you're in. And I feel like with the Three of Cups upright, people do like you. Like maybe you're really good to be friends with. It's like you're a better friend than a business partner. Like people wouldn't want to work with you though, because you're too demanding. I'm looking at this Five of Wands in reverse, and I know the Five of Wands could be a card of a lack of focus, especially in the wild unknown. And this is giving me more vibes of that wild unknown. Let's actually, I want to get into the book and see what she puts for the Five of Wands in reverse. I'm interested to know. Five of Wands in reverse. This is diplomacy, advantage, and conflict avoidance. The Five of Wands reversed can show in a reading when you are avoiding conflict that might be healthy to express. You might be the kind of person who has a tendency to feel uncomfortable around strife. In a very positive sense, sometimes this can be a sign of diplomacy. However, in most cases, the Five of Wands reversed is a sign that avoiding conflict is a way of giving up your vote in a situation. The Five of Wands reversed can also suggest that you have an advantage over your competitors. Because of the nature of five cards, this state is transitional, so it's time to strike while the iron is hot. I'm honestly feeling, maybe that is you, maybe this could be other people around you. It's like they don't want to engage you in any type of like conflict or confrontation. And so maybe this may also like kind of sort of blindside you a little bit. Because it's like you could be like this, but since no one like ever says anything to you, like you don't even know that this is what people think of you. It's like everyone is too scared to get their head caught up or something like that. And it's like you're a really, really good friend, like Miranda Priestley. Everyone around Miranda, like they're all yes people, basically. It's like, oh my gosh, do you know who she is? Do you know who she is? That's Miranda Priestley. And it's like, okay, well, Miranda don't need to learn some manners. Hello? Just because she Miranda Priestley means she get a right to just walk around and be rude. I don't think other people necessarily want to stand up to you, and I don't think you necessarily like that. I don't think you like doing to other people what was done to you. And maybe this is the crossroad you're kind of sort of dealing with. It's like you don't want to be this person, but maybe in the past, when you weren't this person, you got taken advantage of. You got taken advantage of. And so you don't want to be this person, but you don't want to be taken advantage of either. And maybe to get to the spot where you are, there's a lot that you could do alone, or a lot that you had to do alone. Maybe you had a lot of business partnerships that kind of sort of, like, you kind of sort of got screwed over in business or something like that, or you got screwed over and taken advantage of by people. But again, here, it, like with the Three of Cups upright and the Three of three. So maybe you are actually seeing 333 and not like, or you're saying like 33 34, 33 32. Anyway, um, I guess maybe around March 3rd. I don't want to say like around March 3rd something could have happened because there's like lots of threes on the board, honestly. We're looking for the eights and the threes came out, but an eight, I guess, is just two threes put together. An eight happens when two threes try to make a baby. um, but yeah, like I feel like people really like they like you and they respect you, but they don't necessarily want to work with you. Maybe people also with this Five of Wands in reverse, people don't think that they can compete with you. But I feel like with this coming out under the Eight of Pentacles, it's like, or under the Eight of Wands, it's like things would really take off if you work together, though. Either you're too overbearing or you don't speak up. There needs to be balance in this. Now we're coming to the Eight of Swords where you're trapped, and we have the Queen of Wands with the Two of Cups upright. The Queen of Wands and the Two of Cups. Which is interesting. This is the second time we've seen the Queen of Wands. We saw the Queen of Wands last time, and the King of Wands was on the table. Now we got the Queen of Wands with the Two of Cups. But in the Eight of Swords, you could also be like looking for love, but not necessarily feeling like you're going to find it. And there is someone out there who's compatible for you, or compatible with you. And again, it's someone who would be able to see your strengths, who would be able to infer or see kind of sort of how you ended up being the person that you are. And there are good things about you being who you are. But again, with this Queen of Cups in reverse, there's something that's a little bit overbearing, maybe, or underwhelming. And if you are underwhelming, I feel like that would be, again, that message of you not speaking up because you're trying to avoid confrontation, even if something needs to be addressed. Why is this like me, myself, and I energy? Like I'm my own best friend, I'm my own spouse, I don't need nobody else. When you really want somebody else. Or, well, this Two of Cups isn't in reverse. If the Two of Cups was in reverse, I would say you could be sort of trapped in a relationship with somebody. So I guess before you get into a relationship, like, and you like lock it down, make sure that you bring all of you to the table. With the Eight of Pentacles into the Nine of Cups. Okay. So we have the Queen of Cups in reverse and the Nine of Cups. Now, a lot of times the nines and the queens are related. I know in the Witch's Tarot, it's like the Nine of Pentacles is the Queen of Pentacles, the Nine of Cups is the Queen of Cups, the Nine of Swords is the Queen of Swords, and the Nine of Wands is the Queen of Wands. And so you have the Queen in reverse, but the Nine upright. I feel like it's time for you to go back to the drawing board with something. Maybe there are some things that happened to you in the past that, again, you need to let go of. So I feel like another thing that this 8-8 stuff could be bringing, this Lionsgate portal could be bringing us, is the strength to really put sort of these things in our pasts in the past. and to move forward. For some people, it may be like the final sort of gateway, like the final sort of round of tests. Like, you've gone through all this, you know all of this now. Are you going to be strong enough to do what it is that you know you need to do? Empress in reverse with the Five of Pentacles in reverse attached to the Star card. Now, the Star could also be how other people see us. But it's like, it's different than the moon. But it can be like how other people see us, but they still see us in a way that is still fairly incomplete. And it's like people may not see your open, kind, caring, compassionate heart because you don't allow it to be seen. And again, it's like in a certain context, you might be like really friendly with this Three of Cups upright. But then in another context, it's like you're not. Something about unhealthy boundaries and a fear of repeating what's in the past. Maybe a fear of getting shut out again because of whatever this Emperor in reverse energy is. And I feel like if this was a bad relationship or something like that in the past where you don't want to repeat. And I remember I said it on my, I said it earlier today. Excuse me, when I was like, I feel like for me, kindness, empathy, and compassion are a part, like they are a part of my gift. They are a part of my power. So me allowing someone else, or like me giving my power away to someone else, for me personally, especially in this realm, would be me allowing someone else mistreating me to get me to stop being that kind, compassionate, generous, supportive, loving, nurturing, caring person that I am. That would be me giving my power away. If I allowed like an emperor energy to come in, mess me up, and then get me to stop being who I am because I don't want to repeat. And so it's like there's always a period of healing after something like that, but sometimes it's like there are things that we allow to continue to affect us. And it's almost like we do it in defiance, but if we become someone who we're not in defiance of something that happened to us, then it's like that person kind of sort of always has that power over us because we're still not being who we truly are. Now, the other cards we have are the Tower with the rods in reverse, but I don't read these in reverse. The rods is an 11. The Tower is 19. And Crossroads is a 22. So we got 11 and 22 in 19. 33 and 19. What's that, 52? Yeah, 52. 30 plus 22. So we have the Crossroads, the Tower, and the rods. I feel like with the Tower, the Crossroads, and the rods, again, it's like we need to decide between us continuing to operate in this hurt place, from this hurt space, being the lady locked in the tower, or we can decide to. It's like, I don't think we're necessarily going to get much from this tower with the rods, but it's enough to start building somewhere else. And this is kind of sort of the crossroads decision that we're stuck in. Because we weren't appreciated in the past. And I feel like it's really sort of distorted with this, with the Empress in reverse and the Five of Pentacles in reverse coming out for the Star. I think it's kind of sort of distorted our wishes. And the Five of Pentacles in reverse isn't necessarily bad, but with it coming out with the Empress in reverse, I feel like there's a certain amount of vulnerability. It's like you're misperceiving it as weakness because it got taken advantage of. And ultimately, what you need to learn from all of this is healthy boundaries. And you need to learn to recognize when you're being taken advantage of and to intervene on behalf of yourself and correct that situation. Not necessarily that like you have to do everything for yourself and no one else is going to stack up and measure up. It's like, again, with this and like with the Queen of Cups in reverse and the Nine of Cups, something like you got to go back to the drawing board on something, and it's not like reparenting yourself, but you're like reconditioning, retraining yourself to become a Queen of Cups that's upright. But it involves a certain amount of release that goes beyond just like the person. So we'll get the final messages over here and we'll see. All the best with that. I feel like, so something that you could have been going through, you could have been meeting some amazing, wonderful people that for some reason things don't work out. And at first, it's like you think you're in the right, but after some time passes, you find out maybe you've been overacting a little bit. I feel like you maybe lately you're noticing how it's kind of sort of like PTSD, but like when you're in certain situations and circumstances or someone says something, it puts you back in a space where someone else said something. And it's like, you know, everyone's laughing and having a good time, and then someone says something, and then you just like, it kind of takes you back there, and then the mood shifts, and they're like, sorry, I didn't know, I didn't mean it. And it may take you a second to come back to yourself. That could also sort of look like you losing out on opportunities again because like people don't want to work with you. So it could be the case that like maybe you've been applying for jobs and you have a stellar resume, and it's like when you walk into the interview, then people are like really excited to get to know you because your resume is like that. And then over the course of the interview, like they get less and less excited. Like for some reason, there's something about you that people don't necessarily want to work with. Um, and so then that could have gotten you to really look at and observe some things within yourself. And then you kind of sort of see, oh, that's a whole bunch. Fool in reverse. I feel like that isn't necessarily you not taking leaps. I feel like that may be like you unable to take leaps. It's like I'm trying to leap over here, I'm trying to leap over there. But as soon as I try to jump off of the cliff, it's like the ground rises beneath my feet and I'm just taking another step. And again, there's something in your foundation that needs to be reworked because I feel like there's something that you're going to be doing with all of those queens and with the Empress coming out that really involves other people in some way, shape, form, or fashion. And so people don't necessarily have to like you, but for whatever your line of work is, for whatever your mission is, it's like you're going to be working with people. And so you kind of sort of like want people to work with you. Maybe it could be the case that in the past, like you weren't having difficulties like this, but all of a sudden it's like people don't want to work with me anymore. Like, what's going on? And whenever we encounter sort of friction in areas like that, it can happen for a number of reasons. Strength card now upright. And so I think again it would have set you on a path with the Five of Swords and the Eight of Cups in reverse. It would have set you on a certain path to learn certain lessons. And it may have been hard to let go of some of these things because it's going back to protection. And I guess the inner child is really big right now. And with the inner child and inner child healing being so big right now, there are things that we learned when we were younger to survive and to cope and to fit in and to minimize hurt, harm, danger, or perceived threats. But with all of this deep inner child healing and stuff like that, it's like we need to go back into those hurt spaces and really dismantle these foundations that we've built ourselves upon. And it's like, instead of completely dismantling it, though, it's like we're playing Jenga. And we knock one block out and we put something else in there. So there are these certain areas. It's like there are these certain blocks in the Jenga tower that have rotten with the world card at the bottom. There are certain blocks in the Jenga tower that have rotted, and so we're knocking them out and we're putting other ones in. And so the tower doesn't necessarily completely have to fall all the way down, but there are certain things that need to be replaced from something with a healthier foundation. And that's when we can sort of introduce wisdom, so we don't necessarily hold on to the toxic things in the past, but we still allow our inner child sort of that freedom. It's like when you have your inner child and your inner adult. And so your inner adult is the caretaker of your inner child. And then like they work in conjunction with everything else. But yeah, there are certain things in the past that we have to learn to really let go of. Because coming into the spaces we're coming into, they're going to be prohibiting us from moving any further than we can move without that healed. So, yeah. And I think, again, for a lot of us, we may be coming upon with this 8-8, or like even now, we may be coming upon, like I said, these final tests to really, like before the thing is sort of revealed or given out. So, yeah. Excuse me. A little abrasive, a little blunt, but not all the time. We have the Page of Swords and the Two of Pentacles upright. I really think, like I said, it's like, I don't think you like being that person. And I think that you don't want to be that person, but you also don't want to be hurt like you were hurt in the past either. And so with the Page of Swords and the Two of Pentacles, it's something about like going about finding a balance in a new way or in a different way, or realizing that like if you refuse to play the game, then you don't have to worry about losing it. You can live life in a different way than you have been. Then we have the Three of Cups still upright with the Death card over here. Cancerian and Scorpionic energy. But I think it's going to be transforming. Maybe your community has shifted and changed. Like I said, it's like you could be out with your new girlfriends or your new pals. We'll just say your pals. You've been going out with your new pals, having a good time, and then someone says something, and it's like it takes you back to that moment. I think your circumstances and your situations have changed on the outside, but you haven't fully. It's not that you don't realize it, but you don't. It's like you're not allowing yourself to really drop your guard in these spaces. It's like when you rescue an animal from the shelter and they still kind of sort of like they're getting used to you. I taught my dog how to be pet the other day, and we've been cool ever since. He actually lets me pet him now. Before, I don't know what happened to that dog. He ain't my dog. He was here when I came back home, okay? I don't know what happened to him. But it's like whenever I would go down to pet him, he would like flinch. And we had a moment the other day when my mom was vacuuming, and I was like, it's okay, little doggy, you're all right. And ever since then, like, he'll let me pet him and everything. I mean, like, he always let me pet him. I don't know, it's weird. Anyway, we've connected, and I like it. But I feel like it ain't necessarily fair, because, like, he likes to, like, nibble and jump and play, and I don't. I just like to pet the dog sometimes, and so he'll be like, okay, we compromise. I'll let you pet me, and now I get to jump on you and, like, bite you. And I'm like, no. And so, like, part of me is like, oh, that's not really fair, but another part of me is like, I don't want to get bit. The birds and the bear. Why is it giving me like with these polar bears? It's giving me Coca-Cola vibes. The birds and the bear. The bear is about hibernation, and the birds are about migration. Birds are divine messengers. Bears are like sleeping warriors. I think the message here is that that long winter is over. And it's like, while you were in the dark, I want to see what's around the child. Child is at the bottom of the deck with the tree in reverse and the lilies in reverse. And then the ship upright. I think the long winter is over and you can come out of it now. I think you know that it's safe. You may not necessarily know how to let go of the things that you've picked up that you no longer want. You may be realizing that it's tarnishing your beauty, and that beauty being your inner glow. And honestly, it's something that we just kind of sort of live day by day. And then we have the scythe in reverse when that death card, which is also a scythe, was at the bottom of the deck with the 3 of cups upright. I don't know. I mean, I'd say like therapy is always an option if you can afford it. Always an option. Also, if you have a trusted friend who like knows what you've been through, maybe like really talk to them. And I don't know if they would be able to help. But birds are messengers also. And I wonder how they even trained carrier pigeons back in the day. Like, how did that even happen? But birds are divine messengers. And again, I think they're saying it's time for you to leave the cave. Whatever you ate, it's like your belly is starting to touch your back in this cave. Cause all of the little like the fish that you was eating before you went into the cave, like you done burned all that off. And it's like it's been springtime, and we may be coming up on another sort of cycle. It's not going to be another winter, but you're going to be going through an environment change, and you need to be eating now to be ready for that. You may find yourself in a little bit of a lull right now, and things are going to be picking up here pretty soon. And in this lull, I think that's what's really highlighting and illuminating all of this hidden stuff for you to transform. Because again, just like that first pile, I feel like we've all been asking for a lot, and the divine is wanting to give it to us. But again, we kind of sort of have to be ready to accept it before we really get it. And then yeah, there's the rider at the bottom of the deck, so things definitely coming in fairly swiftly, or they have the potential to. I want one more, please. Okay, we'll take it. The key and the ring are the 2 cards that came out. Bottom of the deck is the heart. The heart, the ring, and the key. I love that. The key is the number 33. The ring is 25. And the heart is 24. Don't go breaking my heart. Rings are about commitments. Keys are about unlocking. So, because I remember the Queen of Wands was with that 2 of Cups. And I was like, maybe you found somebody, right? Maybe you believe you found someone worth moving forward with, but you've been finding it difficult, or you found it difficult in the past to really put your past behind you. Because I feel like there's a part of you that realizes and recognizes that those old cycles are over, but you haven't really been able to get out of them. And again, it's like you would just have these moments where you would be put back. It's like it's not all the time, but just this moment. But it's like those moments were enough to kind of sort of stall things. And there's still a card in here, girl. There's always a card in here. This time it's the mountain. Last time it was the storks. Mountains are blockages. It's like you have these blockages in your heart that you know don't need to be there anymore, but you just can't seem to get rid of them. And so maybe the divine's been putting you on a path to do some things. And then you're going to be, I think it's like you want to make sure that you're good before you come back here. And the divine may be like, you're good. And you may be like, well, I can't be good because I still like think this, or I still feel that, or so and so and such is still happening. And the divine is like, you're good, right? Everything else we kind of sort of discover in the moment. And that's why sometimes with the divine we find ourselves overly prepared. But again, it's because it's like we have to be that amount of prepared before we give ourselves permission to go and seek whatever. It isn't necessarily that the divine is saying that like we gotta wait all the time. So yeah, that's really interesting. It's like up front, people are like, oh my gosh, you're so amazing. And then it's like, once that collaboration starts to happen, that's when like another side starts to come out, and like Three of Pentacles in reverse compared to the Three of Cups in reverse. Why am I trying to shuffle like this? Sometimes, there we go. Thank you. Goodness. It's like sometimes y'all work. Sometimes they don't. I was using this deck the other day, and then I picked up a different deck. I was like, why do these cards feel so small? And I was like, oh yeah, because I was just handling these beasts. I'm here to save you from this beast from Shrek. And she's like, I don't need to be saved. And he was like, yeah, you do. Do you see who you're with? You need some saving. Three of Raphael. So pile 2 if you still here. Reasons to celebrate. A community of friends. Happy announcements regarding relationships or children. Sometimes you just gotta go for it. Sometimes you just gotta leap, and you keep yourself in check. And I think if the communication is open and honest, then it's like you allow someone to work with you. And there may be a part of you. How do I keep getting these random cards in reverse? Hello? Or just upright? Epiphany. This is the Hermit. Archangel Raziel. Joy through spiritual growth. Be a light to others, and answers that come through meditation. Is anything else just like flipped over in here? Goodness. What was I saying? When the communication is open and honest, then it's something that like you kind of sort of work through together. I don't think it necessarily has to be a make or break type thing. I can understand like when you don't necessarily want to put somebody through something like that, but I used to have my own thing in the past. And one of the things that my friend would always tell me is that you don't get to decide if the person who loves you gets to love you because of whatever's going on with you. Because I would always be like, like if I really love somebody, and if this is something that I have to deal with, like why would I put that on somebody that I love? And then he would be like, the person that you love gets to make that choice for themselves. And I personally agree. We should be able to choose how. And again, I guess there is a little bit of rejection that could come from that, but it's like at the same time, you should allow someone else the opportunity to get to know you. Even if use a little bit, whatever, still working through the past, right? Or whatever you got going on. Alright, so, alright, we shifting over to 3 now. 2, y'all done gone extra long. But I did want to just kind of sort of like say that, I guess. So, this is how we're going to leave these, and then we'll come and find them. Oh, I got some Humax. I want to drink some of this guava nectar. I probably shouldn't. I already had a mango hibiscus tea. I got this bottle of water here, and I'm not trying to be running to the bathroom all night. Because it would be the one night I get some real sweet sleep. Oh, that was like really good. Okay. We're just going to go ahead and do this first. Top, bottom. Oh, watch it be like Shekiel, Shaziel, or whatever. Who is it? Who is it? Dot, girl. Null, emptiness. Y'all got the empty spot in the tree of life. Hello? What's going on over here? Bottom of the deck is Hod. Left leg, submission. Oh. Hod, left leg, submission. Hold. Hod is also the Norse god counterpart of Hel, I believe. I want to look it up now. I watched The Almighty Johnsons. It was a good show. That was like a few summers ago, back when I was heavy into Norse mythology. Hod. He was cute too. I think his name was Tyler in the show. Hod, Norse mythology. Let's see, real quick. Often angelicized as Hod, Hodr is a blind god and a son of Odin and Frigg in Norse mythology. Tricked and guided by Loki, he shot them. Oh, girl. No. Tricked and guided by Loki, he shot the mistletoe arrow, which was to slay the otherwise invulnerable Balder. The gods amused themselves by trying weapons on Balder and seeing them fail to do any harm. So Balder was basically immortal. He wasn't immortal, he was. He wasn't immortal, he was. Girl. He was basically invulnerable, but the only thing that could really kill him was mistletoe. And like it said, the gods amused themselves by trying weapons on Balder and seeing them fail to do any harm. And so for fun, Balder was like invulnerable. So they would just like poke Balder with all kinds of stuff. Now Loki found out, I can't remember how Loki found out about mistletoe, but Loki found out that mistletoe would take out Balder. And so Loki tricked Hod into firing that mistletoe arrow at Balder. He actually died. So what was about amusement and merriment, now we have this null, we have this void, we got dots. The party went real south real quick. And I think Freya at the time got really upset because like that was like one of her favorite sons or something like that. And one of the things about Ragnarok I think is linked to that, but I can't fully remember. Oof, girl. First card out is Strength, but yeah, it's an 11 in this deck, so we're not taking it. We looking for Justice over here, girl. Change your life. Oh my gosh, look at all these majors at the bottom. So y'all starting with some good stuff over here. I guess, oh, I didn't even do the timestamp, girl. We'll say 149. We'll say like 148. So if you chose the pound 3, and this ain't even necessarily a choice, but if you chose it, and if this is where you join me, hi, my name is Patrick. We looking to see what's up with the 8s, because we got this 8-8 Lionsgate coming up. And so I'm just looking at all the 8s in the deck, because, you know, why not? And so, excuse me. There's the first yawn, y'all. I'm ready for beds. 1:48:00. And if that's a little bit beyond, that's fine. Y'all can like skip a minute or something. So we're gonna be looking to see what's going on with the 8s. I'm gonna be pulling the card. I shuffle these. This is the top, the bottom, and the middle of the Angelarium. And then I'm using the Archangel power cards. We're going to be flipping these over from the top. We're going to be pulling the card before and after every 8. So the Justice card in this deck, the Star card, the 8 of Gabriel, the 8 of Ariel, the 8 of Raphael, and the 8 of Michael. And then we'll just kind of sort of see what's going on around. Again, we start with Strength, Change Your Life, and the Wheel. So Strength, Change Your Life, and the Wheel. The Angels is definitely saying this is a you thing. Maybe. They like, this is a you thing. You got the strength to change your own life. And then we have the Ot, which is the void. Seven, nice. 7, ace, page, king. 2 kings together. Who they is? King of Ariel and the King of Michael. So we got the Earth King and the Air King. Practical, logical, analytical, reasonable. The Queen of Raphael with the Queen of Michael. Okay. King, queen. I like that. Solutions and the Lovers. Perspective. 2 pages. Page, knight. Okay, ain't none of these royals. Page, knight, page. Why is this knight? Maybe the Knight of Raphael is dropping off the page of Raphael to this gathering of the pages. So I'm like, there's this one random knight amongst all these pages. I'm gonna do it like this. Now these are a little bit bigger or a lot of bit bigger, so they're not necessarily gonna fit as nicely as the other ones, but we'll get it figured out. We'll get it situated. Hold up. I did do this right. I was like, hello? Let me put these down. So the first 8 out is the 8 of Swords. In the other 2, the 8 of Wands was always the first 8. The first 8 minor at the very least. Oh, look at all the mages. Here's the 8 of Ariel. So yeah, Earth and Air. The first 8's out. Earth and Air. I don't want to spend my life being a player. Or color. It was color. I don't want to spend my life being a color. And that was Michael Jackson, Black or White. Who playing and don't want to play no more? I don't want to be a player forever. I want to settle down. Somebody getting a little bit of rod rash? Girl, go to the clinic. They'll take care of you. Who got rod rash? Keep that to yourself. I don't want to know. Never mind. Forget I said anything. Do not comment down below if you got rod rash. We don't need to know. Yeah, these cards are like real big, y'all. So we're going to see how these all fit on the table. Where the mages at? The sun with new beginnings. Yes. Wait, did I still have these in major minor chord? I think I might have still had these in major minor chord. And that's why a lot of these majors are coming out together. Oh, finally. Goodness, I was beginning to worry if we get any of the majors. The Six of Raphael with Justice. Interesting. Real interesting. Well, on the good side, it looks like we're not. Well, here it is. Never mind. I was gonna say it looked like we may not necessarily have to worry about having to fit all the eights because we're getting to the top of the deck now, or to the bottom of the deck, and that star energy is not out, and so I guess we lose the star, which means it's probably in here somewhere, which is fine because again, like we ain't got much more room on the table. Bottom of the deck is the Ten of Michael, which is the energy of the Ten of Swords. It says a situation has ended and you are finally free. New opportunities for happiness will now follow. Put the past behind you. Yeah, I don't want to spend my life being a player. Somebody got rod rash. I'm sorry. It's like, yeah, with Hod, y'all show up to the party. You think you having fun. Somebody got rod rash. Now there's a whole chain of people you gotta call or maybe not call. Or you like, wow, you really had rod rash and you ain't tell me, so now I got rod rash. Like, goodness, well, it was supposed to be fun. We were just in the moment and having fun. It's like, girl, please. Okay. Anyway, let's get back to this. I'm sorry. Um. Oh, I did that timestamp early, didn't I? I timestamp here when the cards are actually out. Duh. 1:57:11. So this is where y'all would be joining me if y'all to choose this as a pick a card, pick a pile, pick two type of thing. I just put the timestamps in the comments if like later you want to revisit this or if you do want to treat it as a pick a pile. That wasn't necessarily the intention. I was originally gonna go through with all of my tarot decks and look at the before and after all the eights, and I was like, girl, that's a lot of work. You got a lot of decks, and we ain't doing that tonight. So I settled on this. Hi, so your oracle is the Angelarium, Oracle of Emanations. Oh, it's upside down. The Angelarium, Oracle of Emanations. Now, there was supposed to be another set that came out, but I never got it. I wonder if it's out now. If it is, I might get it. And it would have been the Oracle of, not the Emanations, Oracle of the Watchers, I think it might have been the next one. And then we also have the Archangel Power cards as the tarot. And we're going to start by reading Da'at, or Dayat, or however you pronounce it. I don't want to be respectful. I don't want to be disrespectful and rude, but we got Dayat. Hidanol. There's Tiferet, Gavora, right leg, left leg, Hard. Where's Doc? Excuse me. Dayat, where you at? Here he is. This emanation is a conduit. It radiates no light for itself, holds no shape, and touches nothing. It is perfect and invisible, a space through which nothing and everything passes. In its arms all 10 of the emanations dance, each of them shining a great light through its void. This emanation has no number, no color, no connection to the other emanations. In that it is unique. Its solitary nature sets it apart from the other emanations in such a significant way that Dayat is sometimes considered to not exist at all. To give a name to the emptiness at the center of the tree is vital, and so too is the need to understand the significance of that emptiness, found in meditation, silence, and sleep. This is interesting. So when it says that they all dance in his arms, or in its arms, it's like all of them but none of them. And what's interesting about it is that it is the void. And so it appears that way because it is everything. When it comes to, but it's like nothing. Hold up, wait. Dayat would be the pigment in the space of the emanations of light. Dayat takes everything that it is given without prejudice, but because it takes it all, because it takes in all of the light, it appears as black. It appears as the void. And so, with it being the void in the tree, it's not connected to any of them, but it's also connected to all of them. But it's connected to them through the vacuum of space, because it doesn't touch any of them, but it absorbs all of what they give it. I watched this one movie lately. I can't remember what it was called, but there was like a black spot in the sky, and something disappeared. And they were like, whoa, where did it go? And so they switched it over to like UV or infrared or something like that. And they saw this little black shit that was just chilling out there. And it's kind of sort of giving me the vibes of that. For this to come out with all of this is going to be real interesting. I don't know if this deck will take me where I feel this is trying to lead me though, low key. Because it said it's perfection, but it also doesn't exist. Who picked this? If you picked this, shoot me an email. Hit me up. We need to talk. I'm just playing. Don't do that. I mean, you could. This is really interesting. I want to read that again because that's real interesting. Da'at, Dayat. I don't know how to say this. I like Dayat because it makes it anyway. Dayat is null and emptiness. This emanation is a conduit. It radiates no light for itself, holds no shape, and touches nothing. It is perfect and invisible, a space through which nothing and everything passes. In its arms, all 10 of the emanations dance, each of them shining a great light through its void. This emanation has no number, no color, no connection to the other emanations, in that it is unique. Its solitary nature sets it apart from the other emanations in such a significant way that Dayat is sometimes considered to not exist at all. To give a name to the emptiness at the center of the tree is vital, and so too is the need to understand the significance of that emptiness. So we need to understand the significance of this emptiness, but the book ain't going to tell us what the significance of that emptiness is. We just need to understand it. And it's also important that we give a name to it, even though it doesn't exist at all. This is really intriguing me. I honestly want to take all of these off of the table and just grab the SKT. Because the SKT, it also features angels in the court system. Because I don't know if these are going to give me what Dayat is giving me. Or I could just grab another Oracle deck and not use the Angelarium. I can use like the Wisdom of Lord Ganesha or something like that. I'm extremely curious. I'm just gonna go with it, and it's gonna be what it's gonna be. Okay, so on a less sort of mystic note, you could, I guess, be finding yourself really disconnected from everything right now. It's like you're connected, but you're also disconnected, and so you may not necessarily be operating in standard protocol and procedure right now. You may be meditating a lot more, keeping to yourself a lot more, really sort of processing, analyzing, taking a lot of things in right now, and doing some internal work with it. Maybe some soul growth and development, maybe something like that. Excuse me. Okay, yeah. So I guess this don't necessarily got to be super mystical. Um, you may find yourself just in a time of some separation and isolation right now. And but again, it's not like you aren't connected to a lot, but it's like you are, but you're not. Um, oh, that's interesting. Okay, so with justice, it's coming out with the Six of Raphael, and so we may be righting some wrong in our emotional past. Um, it may not necessarily be the case that we are physically talking to whoever to right these wrongs. We may, within ourselves, without communication from other people, we are going back and we're making this right. That came out with the Seven of Ariel because we realized in order for us to go and grow in the direction that we're going in, something about the foundation, something about the soil needed to be changed. This is an energy of irrigation, right? You've irrigated the land. Six of Raphael is embrace your inner child, new friends or rekindled relationships, and children or childhood. The Seven of Ariel is you have invested wisely, have patience, and wait for the harvest. Review your progress and make plans for your next endeavor. And so maybe you've been doing a lot of inner child healing and stuff like that. Again, making peace with the past, correcting the past, and not necessarily in a way where you're necessarily talking to other folks to do it. You're just more so doing it in yourself. And that could be sort of this moment. But it's like as you've been disconnected, maybe from other people, and going within, fixing all of this within yourself, you may have actually been finding increased connection with all that there is. Because it's like in the space of you, it's like you're internally, mentally, emotionally, energetically, you're clearing up a lot of space that was being held up in whatever this sort of like internal childhood trauma or whatever your inner child was kind of sort of busy doing inside of you. It's like you went in and you helped it do its homework so it can go out and play. And now it's like you're coming into increased awareness of a lot of things. We start with the Eight of Michael, which is interesting because that's the energy of the Eight of Swords coming off of this justice. And so strength isn't necessarily something that can save you from this Eight of Swords. It's justice. We're operating in the space of justice instead of in the space of strength over here. So I guess it ain't necessarily about saving, but justice is about righting wrongs, but it's also about taking an unbiased approach to something. So maybe like lots of introspection and reflection in this energy, which is interesting. I feel like the second one really involved other people. The first one I can't remember, if I'm being honest. Um, but this one seems like really internal. So with the Eight of Michael, out comes the Page of Ariel and the Three of Ariel. The Page of Ariel is reliable, clever, educated, and balanced. An excellent opportunity will be offered to you. Scholarships or the pursuit of education. Time to get to work. I feel like with this coming out at the Eight of Swords, you were probably doing like a lot of internal work on yourself. The suits of air and pentacles are connected because our thoughts become things. And in order to move forward in the realm of things, you have to go back and clear up your thoughts. And you may have found that as you clear up your thoughts, maybe it's been leading to opportunities. It's like the other day when I was helping my mom set something up and I needed to look through stuff. It's like when I was unpacking boxes, I was finding like some cool things. Oh, I'm going to read y'all a passage from the book because I found it when I was helping my mom. Where's the book? Okay, maybe I won't because the book is in hiding right now. What's this? Oh. I got a whole bunch of stuff at the store that I didn't need, honestly, if we're being honest. Where did it go? Hello, unknown. I just saw you. Oh, it's literally like, no, it literally was right there. But it's literally not right there now. Hello? 1 second, no. Where did this? Here it is. I found this book called Arms from the Sea. And the hook is, like men, gods have dreams. And it says, enough of the known, of seeds already sown. If you're a god, make something strange, something the light has never seen. Let yourself turn in the silver gyres that circle these pinprick eyes, or gyres or whatever. Give up this brittle body and soul. Revert to the plasma of pure imagination. I'm going to play the formation of life from scratch. I got this book for free on campus. Hey, Miss Vernell. Oh, snap. I don't know how long you've been in here. Oh, not too long. Hey, Miss Vernell, how are you doing? I read that. I was like, I got this book for free on campus. I ain't never read it a day in my life. I almost threw it away, but I was like, ooh, this book sounds good. We're going to go to a random passage right here. We got 3 lines of dialogue. It say, hold up. We have the same goal, Audric assured the doctor. That's important, Went said, settling on Lyle. The chief's tribunal has approved a forbearance decree. She explained in a more formal voice. It's conditional. If you accept Minister Audrey, it's Audrey, not Audric. If you accept Minister Audrey's offer and become a helper, if you perform the tasks he defines and you commit no further crimes, you will become an employee of culture. If you fail to meet any of these conditions, you will become a prisoner of the state. She switched her head to point her words. Your sentence is 30 years. If you decide to serve it, you will return to custody and will remain there until your term is complete. Okay. So this is like, it's a choice, but it's a non-choice. It's like either you accept Minister Audrey's offer and become a helper, or you serve 30 years. What is happening with Lyle? Now, Lyle is special. Like I said, I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. A little tired because it's a little late. But, again, I haven't read this book. But from what I know of Lyle, he was like one of the only people who can see the magic on the sea. Everyone else saw smoke rolling in on the waves and got scared. Also, I know that Lyle has an ability. He's like a master craftsman who lives in a village full of master craftspeople. And a minister came to his house to sort of recruit him or whatever. And then speaking of crafts people, we have this pinnacle energy here. Excuse me. So the Page of Pentacles could be an apprentice. The Knight would be an adept. And then the King and the Queen would be like the master. And so we're coming into this apprentice energy. And so maybe this is the space of a spiritual apprenticeship. But it's a spiritual, it could be a spiritual apprenticeship that isn't necessarily watched over by someone physical. Because all of this is so internal. And it's like you've pulled away from the world, but you've also found yourself more connected to it. Because you're more connected to that part of you that is connected to the world. It's like all of the most major of portals and gateways lie inside. Through the space of our divine connection. Exactly! One to help others and one to help yourself. And it's important to do both. Is there a parable about the potter? Because I know the potter's house is in the Bible. I know there's a song, Come and Go With Me to the Potter's House. I want to look and see if there's a parable about the potter. Parable of the potter. Here we go. Here we go. Parable of the potter. So, open your Bible, Jeremiah 18:1 through 23, 19:1 to 15, 2 Kings 21:10 to 12, and Romans 9:20 to 21. Let's see. Okay, so some of this. In the beginning of Jeremiah 18, God says to the prophet, "Go down at once to the potter's house. There I will reveal my words to you." He sends Jeremiah to this house because by observing the potter's wheel in clay, Jeremiah is given a powerful visual aid. Just like clay in a potter's hand, the house of Israel is held in its maker's hand. The Israelite people aren't as independent as they think. They are stubborn and make poor decisions. They abandon their commitment to God and defile the land with idolatry, making it a horror. They don't realize how fragile they are and what they are risking in order to live according to what they think is right. In Jeremiah 19, God tells Jeremiah to give a sign act to the people of Judah, which is exactly what it sounds like, a physical act that serves as a sign. He instructs Jeremiah to buy a potter's clay jar, proclaim God's judgment against Judah, and says, "Then you are to shatter the jar in the presence of the people going with you." Jeremiah 19:10. The sign was meant to represent his intentions toward unrepentant Judah. God takes great care to speak in ways we can understand. He'll use everything from visual aids to metaphors to get our attention. Even the world around us reveals his character. As we read through Jeremiah's prophecies, may we trust that God knows what is best for us and look for where he may be trying to reveal his truth to us. Love that. So yeah. Then again, so Earth is the element that we work with physically, but it's also the element of everything that surrounds us. And like it said at the end, What did it say? That for me was a little mini personal confirmation. God takes great care to speak in ways we can understand. He'll use everything from visual aids to metaphors to get our attention. Even the world around us reveals his character. As we read through Jeremiah's prophecies, may we trust that God knows what is best for us and look for where he may be trying to reveal his truth to us. Just like clay in a potter's hand, the house of Israel is held in its maker's hands. The Israelite people aren't as independent as they think. They are stubborn and make poor decisions. They abandon their commitment to God and defile the land with idolatry, making it a horror. They don't realize how fragile they are and what they are risking in order to live according to what they think is right. So I think in the space of Dayat, this is us kind of sort of not separating ourselves from the land. I kind of sort of love that as a metaphor for everything kind of sort of going on right now, a little bit low key, not gonna lie. Yeah, but I know it's like that, but it was like there was also something a little bit deeper. Because I feel like what's going to happen with this energy is you're going to be given a ball of clay and a wheel. I mean, the third card, the first three cards that came out, strength, change your life, and the wheel. There's that potter's wheel right there, strength and change your life. And so I think we're going to be given a ball of clay to shape and mold on our own. That was Jeremiah. Let me see again. Jeremiah 18, 1 through 23. And then also Jeremiah 19, 1 through 5. Here are all the scriptures sort of like on there. If you can see, can you see them? Kind of. So I think that looks like around verse 6. Hold on, wait, what is this? I didn't even read this. Oh, wait. In the beginning of Jeremiah 18. So yeah, it's like Jeremiah 18. And then I know they said like V6 in here, verse 16 right here. Jeremiah 18. This for now. Where my Bible at? Where is my Bible? High key. I am at home. It should be in here somewhere. I had a Bible. Where my Bible at? When I was young, my grandma bought me like a children's Bible, and I loved it because it had like different colors and everything. And I had a little Bible case that was like Noah's Ark. Um, I don't know where it is though. I'm gonna look for my Bible tomorrow. I love that little Bible. It was like hardcover and everything. But I feel like we're gonna be given a ball of clay right now, or not right now, but we're gonna be given a ball of clay and something about pulling away from the world and observing it. It's like pulling the face off of the clock and watching how the gears interact with each other. It almost feels like the divine is going to be like, okay, now, like now's your turn. No, like do it. But to do this, because again, it talked about how they were sort of stubborn and making poor choices, and they didn't understand how fragile they actually were. And so maybe it's like it's being revealed to you when you take a step back, like how stubborn we are, how fragile we are, how we make these poor decisions, and how we sort of detach ourselves from elements of love, kindness, and compassion, right? If God is love, how we've sort of detached ourselves from those things and looking at how we kind of sort of ended up where we ended up. So the second card is the Three of Ariel. Do what you love, a time of great personal growth in your career or artistic endeavors, and working with others in a cooperative manner. So you're not going to be the only one working on this clay thing. But maybe it's going to be, I don't know what Lyle makes his figurines out of. It'll be really interesting if I read these and if I read this and like Lyle makes things out of clay. That would be hilarious. I want to read another little passage. I loved your work from the first moment I saw it, he said. That first day we met, I loved your spirit. You're the son I never had. He took a breath. I've done everything I can to help you. You don't have any way of knowing the kind of pressure I'm under, but I've risked my future and my family's future for you. So someone is a huge fan of your work. And it's like someone knew that they would be from the very beginning. And so you've been given a certain path. And before you really head down this path, it's important for you to understand that we are not of this world, but we exist in it. And so it's, oh, this is so weird. It's not weird, but it's interesting. Because it's like we're not of this world, but we exist in it. But when we interact with it, it's almost like our interactions are different because, again, we're not of this world. It's giving me the vibes of like Inception or in other things where you have these outsiders that enter a certain pre programmed space. And then it's like they're following the program and it's fine. But as soon as they do something, and when the other people in the program realize that they're not in the program, then it's like everything tries to eject them from that space because they're not of that space. It's kind of sort of like that, but it's different. I mean, because it's for all of us to learn to be in the world but not of the world, right? Because we all live here. It's like just because I live here doesn't mean I have to do X, Y, and Z. This is so interesting. And these are not really the cards. Okay, let me stop saying that. I would have preferred to have used a different deck though to really get at this, but we'll get there. Jeremiah 29 verse 11. It is the work God put in you that people love your work. God knows the plan he has for you. Yeah, he knows the plan that he has for us before we know the plan. It reminds me of last year. I would talk to my friend Emily, and I would be like, oh, I just learned how to do this, or I just did this today, or this is something that I'm seeing a lot of. I really, really hope that it's not my path to do this because I don't like people. It's not that I don't like people. I was like, I don't want to be like forefront. I don't want to be center stage. I don't want to like have attention or blah, 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 whatever. But at the same time, I was like, well, but if it's my path, and I'm not going to run away from it. So, because it makes money. Ching ching. Hey, Zelda. Yeah. But there's something about the perspective when it's like you're in it, but you're not in it. Because, like, there are certain things that you can only see from the ground, but I don't think it's for you to ever lose that bird's eye view that you have, that higher perspective. Okay, so let's move on. to the 8 of Ariel. So the 8 of Michael could be a thought that comes in that, or a word that comes in, excuse me, that really gets us to begin to see things in a different way. It gets us to look at our surroundings and to be like, am I like imprisoned here, low key, but like high key? Or like, no. Let's see. So we have the 4 of Gabriel, which is the 4 of Wands when it comes to this 8 of Ariel. So the 8 of Ariel is the space of the 8 of Pentacles, something that we can work towards to master. We have the 3 of Michael and the 4 of Gabriel, the 4 of Wands and the 3 of Swords, which is interesting. I immediately go to that dove. Oh, wait, I need my OBS back up. I'm going to lose it. Yeah. And that's one thing, Miss Vernell, that I've really sort of learned and accepted. Um, it was just my fear that I would be center stage. But even still, like when it comes to like one person, and that like I'm different now because I've gotten accustomed to it. I'm doing a lot of things that I didn't necessarily see myself doing even a few months ago. um, but yeah, like I've always known, like I'm not gonna not do it, and I know I'm gonna grow into the space. And I also know that I may not even end up doing what I think I'm gonna be doing. Just because it looks like a certain thing doesn't mean it's not gonna like pivot. Um, but I immediately look at this little dove up here. Look at that little dove. Oh wait, let's get the dove in the light. Come on, there. Let me stop. Okay, I immediately go to that little dove up there. The 4 of Gabriel says, "Time for a celebration, abundant rewards for hard work, and release yourself from burdensome situations. And then release the past. You will grow from this situation, and time heals all wounds." I think this card also said something about releasing the past. Let's go back and see real quick. Maybe it didn't. No. What said something about releasing the past? I don't know. Okay, maybe I just imagined it. It's talking about releasing the past, growing from the situation, a time for celebration, and releasing burdensome situations. So here we start with the 8 of Swords, and then we go into everything else. Goodness. I need to stop complaining and just connect to this. Because I'm like, I really wish I had a different deck. But that's fine. I'll figure it out. I think, honestly, with these two, this is an energy of really practicing healthy boundaries. With the 4 of Wands and the 3 of Swords, it's like sometimes you have to cut your losses, sometimes you can celebrate. And they say that we come into each other's lives for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. But in some lifetimes, it is a series of seasons, right? It can be an on season and then an off season. I think here is the space of, oh, okay. Well, let me pick my phone back up. Oh, it's so nice to have folks in here. Oh, snap, my brother is back on Tumblr. Right, in Jeremiah 19, God tells a sign. Oh, yeah, yeah. The Lion of Judah. It's his very clear to speak in ways we can understand. He'll use everything from visuals to reveal his truth for us. There's something else that's interesting in here. Well, we have 3 paragraphs. And so now let's look at the second one here. In Jeremiah 19, God tells Jeremiah to give a sign act to the people of Judah, which is exactly what it sounds like, a physical act that serves as a sign. He instructs Jeremiah to buy a potter's clay jar, proclaim God's judgment against Judah, and says, "Then you are to shatter the jar in the presence of the people going with you." Jeremiah 19:10. The sign was meant to represent his intentions toward unrepentant Judah. So a sign act, a physical act that serves as a sign. And that's what kind of sort of marriage is in a way, right? It's a physical act that serves to replicate and redesignate. You have to cut your losses to gain more. God will see to it. Close your mouth and observe, and God will do the work for you. And I'm also getting that, like you said, it's that, like when you have to cut your losses. Was it here or was it somewhere else? Maybe I didn't say it. It's like sometimes we make room for things in our lives. And when we make room for something, it's important that we don't immediately try to go out and fill it with something else. But here also comes the understanding of resonance. So first, it's like we look at the potter's wheel and we see what that represents. We pull back from the world. Here, it's like seeing the good and seeing the bad. And it's about knowing how to not navigate, but it's understanding interconnectedness in a certain way, understanding duality in a certain way. It's about resonance and alignment. That's what I'm getting. Something about attachment and the attachments that we form and what those attachments do. It's like, oh, what is it? It's like we're rewiring something. Even in the brain, we could be rerouting, remaking certain neural pathways. It's given me like neuroplasticity. Also, the energy of like, we're okay. It's like we are complete, like everything is unplugged in the space of day out. And we're being asked here to very meticulously, very diligently untangle all of the cords, plug up what's necessary, throw away what no longer serves or anything that we're not using, and to also introduce a certain amount of order to this. So we don't have like, you could see like these cords just running all over the place. And so it reduces trip hazards. It also potentially reduces interference, um, and a bunch of other stuff. It's like we're clearing space on the hard drive to make room for more. It's very interesting though, because it's like we may be plugged into the world in a way different than we were before. It's like it's all fun and games until someone gets hurt. And that's this Hod up here. It's all fun and games until Balder dies. And no one would have ever thought that Balder would have died because Balder is like invulnerable to everything but mistletoe. I feel like there's so much under the surface, but I'm not even necessarily going to go that deep because I don't need to. I don't want to. It's not that I don't want to. I feel like because I'm like extremely intrigued by this energy, um, but also at the same time, not everything needs to necessarily be revealed. And so we have the 10 of Gabriel over here with the Empress when it comes to the 8 of Raphael. And the 8 of Raphael is that journey. So first we look at this sort of stuck place with the 8 of Swords. We look at the space of diligence and the work. It's also like Uncle Iroh when he got locked up in the prison. Timing is everything. Yeah. But it's like we also need to understand time. Because it's like, in certain ways, time flows around us and we influence its movement. But we can't force it. It's like we can influence time, we can't force time with this. So the Empress, and then the 10 of Gabriel. The Empress is Archangel Gabriel, and then the 10 of Gabriel. So time to act upon your plans. Oh, speaking of time. Time to act upon your plans. Creativity is rewarded. Luxurious or abundant resources. 10 of Gabriel is ask your angels for helpful people to lighten your load. Working too many hours and trying too hard to please others. 222, too much like you just popped into my mind. And that was in the space. It was like this little play, this little skit thing when I went to church when I was younger, and it was like a parent and a child, and the parent was upset with the child, and it was basically like the parent is too much like the child, or the child is too much like the parent. And what the parent will do is it'll try to prevent their child from making making the same mistakes that they make. But it's like if the parent is rebellious and doesn't listen to anybody, then the child is also rebellious and doesn't really listen to anybody. And it's like you're upset that, and it was at like 222, too much like you. But there's an energy here of, oof, it's like not your actual father, but your heavenly father. um, Honestly, this talks about the burden of creation. I don't even know. Like originally, I used these cards because I like the messages and it keeps it simple. But the messages on the cards ain't giving me what I want today. The Empress and the 10 of Wands. It's about the burden of creation and the responsibility that we have to take whenever we put something out into the world. Just like a child, for a certain amount of time, we're responsible for anything that that child does. And it's like our children are a reflection of us, even though they are their own people. Also, you have to feed and clothe, bathe, especially when they're smaller, take care of, tend to, fend for a child. And a child isn't like a book or a piece of, pottery that we make. A child, that's something that we create and bring forth into the world that has its own path. That's why two in the Bible represents unity. The child is a reflection of the parent, and that can be good and bad. Gabriel is the one with the horn, right? Yeah. It takes. I participated in a choral festival when I was in elementary school, and there was this one song we sang, and it was about Gabriel. Send me down my silver trumpet, Gabriel. Send it down, hand it down, any old way, just get it down. Send me down my silver trumpet, Lord. Lord. And I remember the way the dude was saying, like, down, like, send it down, hand it down, any old way, just get it down, or something like that. I'm like, dude, like, I've had music class, but this is a bit excessive to me. Send it down, hand it down, any old way, just get it down. If you want a silver trumpet like mine, now I gotta look up the lyrics to that song. Cause what did it say? If you want a silver trumpet like mine. Oh, I'll just say, hand me down my silver trumpet, Gabriel, and hope that the song pops up. Hand me down my silver trumpet, Gabriel, sung by the Preservation Jazz Band and Tony Lorenzo. Maybe I should have put in the lyrics. Send it down, hand it down, any way, just get it down. Hand me down my silver trumpet, Lord. What? Okay, maybe it's this. This says 2012 though. Girl, like that was my senior year of high school and not elementary, so we'll see. Well, I've never been to heaven, but I've been told, hand me down my silver trumpet, Gabriel. The gates are made of pearl and the streets are made of gold. Hand me down my silver trumpet, Lord. Oh, hand me down, oh, hand me down, oh, hand me down my silver trumpet, Gabriel. Send it down, hand it down, and your wages get it down. Hand me down my silver trumpet, Lord. Wait, what? Where's the part where the silver, if you want a silver trumpet like mine? It's not on here. Well, I guess that makes sense. But with this is about the burden of creation. This is about us being responsible for the things that we put out into the world. Like a child, but not. And that's another thing of the world, though. Um, it's about recognizing what could be done with what we put out into the world, even if it's not its original intention or purpose. Because that happens in the world. I don't necessarily know if we're responsible for that, but you would probably feel responsible if you're the reason why somebody took something and then did something heinous with it. And it's like, well, if I wouldn't have put it out there, then they wouldn't have had it to do this, even if I'm not responsible for them weaponizing it. I don't know. Something about the burden of creation here. And then we end up with the Eight of Gabriel. And the Eight of Wands is sometimes about divine intervention for me. Lately, though, it's more about divine understanding than intervention. Because when we have a divine understanding, we interact with time in a different way. And the Eight of Wands is about celerity, it's about quickness, right? And then here's that star card, the Four of Raphael and the star. So seek out other possibilities, look for the magic in life, and be aware of your own emotions. And then the star is Archangel Jophiel. It is a dream come true, believe in yourself, and the end of a difficult situation. I feel like there's a lot of empowerment energy with this one in particular. Save the old version of Silver Trumpet and the year. Oh, yeah. I'll look it up when I'm done here. Because it's like, it doesn't necessarily. I am extremely intrigued, but it doesn't necessarily have to be complete. I think here, like, this is a whole inward journey. This is a whole internal journey. I think the divine is trying to prepare you for a space that it's going to put you in. And you're going to be learning some really, really important lessons that are evidenced by the world around you. You can see it in the world around you already. And that's why you're pulling back, especially here, and you're observing, looking at what other potters are doing with the clay that they've been given, seeing the good and bad of it, realizing the burden of creation, and then reaching the point within you where you don't create out of desperation, frustration, or it's like an emotional unconnectedness, some kind of emotional lack, an emotional void. Everything you want, you can have, but the way you go about getting it is important. What you put out into the world is important. There's honestly, I feel like here, there's going to be a need for, it's not restriction, maybe reservation. Excuse me. It's like you're not going to be able. It's not that you can't be all of who you are, but it's about you knowing within yourself if the world is ready for what you're capable of. And so you may not necessarily go out into the world and be the full capacity of who you are at 100%, because the world may not necessarily be ready for 100% or even 50% of who you are. And you can look and see what the world is doing with what the world has now, and you can tell if it would be used in a proper or improper way. Because again, sometimes the burden of creation falls on you when you're the person who introduces this into the world. It's like, why would you give a child a fully loaded weapon that they could take a life with when they don't yet have the understanding of their actions and the consequences that those actions would have? It was like the other day, there was a story of a 4-year-old who found a loaded gun in the car and then shot and killed his grandmother. It's like, oh my gosh. It was tragic. Yeah. And I think there are certain things that he's really trying to get us to understand as well. This is like pretty heavy, honestly. But I feel like it's like really easy to miss at the same time. Because it's like you're being taught things here, but you're not being taught in a physical, concrete. You're not being taught by a person in particular. It's like you're being taught by the divine in ways highlighted and illuminated by the world around you. But I don't think there's necessarily like I'm not getting like a physical teacher, like a mentor type energy here. This energy is primarily relying on you listening, observing, getting the messages that are intended to you, and seeing the things that are being revealed to you in the way that they're being revealed to you. I don't know. I do know. Well, kind of. I don't. I don't. I'm gonna just say I don't. Okay. So we have Sandalphon and Malkuth. I love Malkuth. Malkuth is the kingdom. Malkuth is the ground. Sandalphon is the angel of new life. We have the kingdom and the angel of new life. Oh my gosh. Excuse me, girl. This is like the heaviest of the three, no doubt. For sure. This line, like these eights, the eights on this one are oof. Ooh. Okay, the book. Where's the book? So we'll read Malkuth first, and then we'll go over to Sandalphon. And then we'll close this up. Malkuta Deshimaya, I think. The kingdom of heaven lies within, or something like that. Ground, the kingdom. The 10th and final emanation. The physical world in which we live. The domain of mankind. Malkuth is an emanation of emanations, the culmination of the many aspects that form the tree of life. Everything, from our bodies to the experience we have in them to the world in which we exist, is Malkuth. The infinite space that expands across the universe is a manifestation of her. The boundless prismatic orb holds all the colors of the universe. So it's like we have all the colors of the universe in this boundless prismatic orb, and then in Dayat, it's like all the colors of the universe, all the colors of the emanations dance within him or it, but it is also that void space of nothing. At the feet of the tree, the ground stretches outward, forming a base. This is the space where Malkuth exists. She is beyond just being the lowest point. She is the foundation itself, being the thing that we experience every moment in our lives. Malkuth contrasts clearly with Keter, whose existence is marked by its total unknowability. As with all things in the tree, one mirrors the other, forming a complete continuum through which we can understand the boundaries of existence, found in the earth, our bodies, and home. And then Sandalphon, we'll find little Sandy. Aziraphale, Samikiel, Sahakio, Remio. I'm pretty sure Sandalphon is on the right. Shateo. Okay, I thought Sandalphon was on the right. Here's Sandalphon. Sandalphon, angel of new life. When the time is right, there's time again. When the time is right, the twin angel will return. Sandalphon was the first, and now we follow it forward along the shoreline and into the water. Sandalphon's footstep brings with it great fear, but also awe and hope. With each step, we move closer to the conclusion and a new beginning. Embrace this new epoch. What has come has already passed. What will be is still a dream. Sandalphon flows through it all. When a new era emerges, the blood of the twin angel brings fertility to everything it touches. Angelarium too was formed this way. So too will the next world, born in the wake of Sandalphon. Signs are a wheel within a wheel, a child, and a spiral. The wheel within a wheel, and then again, we start with the wheel being that third major, connected to strength and change your life. We see the symbol of the wheel again, the potter's wheel. Um, we got hot down here. I feel like the collective message here would be for us to realize and recognize. It's not even like realizing and recognizing, but it's like, how did we get to the point in the world where we are where we are? And moving forward, like, how do we encourage ourselves to not hit this point again? Because it's like, I don't know, you don't just wake up one day and the world is in the state that it's in. I mean, kind of, it's like you wake up one day and it reaches that point where it boils over, I guess, and then it's like, oh my gosh, what's happening? But it doesn't just happen, right? It's like it's always there, maybe beneath the surface, maybe in a way that you can't see it, but it's still there. And we need to understand how we got here so that we don't end up in a place like this again. It's like people are so quick to return to quote unquote normal, but it's like, why don't we slow down enough to know, or to at least, I mean, it ain't for us to like not necessarily do that, but like, let's make sure before we get too comfortable or whatever that we don't do something to end up here again. Because if we warrant a sit down timeout, we're gonna get a sit down timeout. Okay, I want to actually pull one of these first because these are like heavier. That was so interesting. That was really interesting. I was not expecting that after the first two, honestly. And I had the Wild Unknown tarot, and I was gonna use the Wild Unknown archetypes instead of, no, I think I was still gonna use these. I was gonna use the Wild Unknown instead of the Kawaii. But girl, this was oof. That was a lot. By helping each other with good decisions, and each one teach one working together, will solve the problem. Oh, Gabriel! I've never seen like Gabriel or Uriel or Michael in this deck. I always get these angels that I've never heard of. Bottom of the deck is Zadkiel, Angel of Mercy. Oh, Angel of Mercy at the bottom of the deck. Okay, Zadkiel. Who did? Is that Twitter? What's that? Who that? Who that? Oh, no, that's Fire Emblem. Gabriel, Angel of Heralds. Talking about that hand me down my silver trumpet, Gabriel. Well, here's Gabriel. I think Gabriel may be coming to hand down that silver trumpet, Loki. Interesting. Okay, Gabriel, let's see what you about. Send it down, hand it down, and your way, just get it down. Gabriel's like, I heard you want your trumpet. I was like, Gabriel's like, no, you know, if I give this to you, then you gotta use it, right? And I was playing Persona 5 last night, and a question came up of the meaning of the phrase "my country, good or bad," and it goes back to like 1860 or 70 something. It goes back further, but it's like my country, good or bad, if right to be kept right, and if wrong to be set right. Sometimes we got to call it out if we want things to change, or if we don't want to go back to where it is that we're coming from. Duma. Ram, where's Gabriel? I'm so excited. Gabriel may actually be the first angel in here. Yeah, Gabriel is the first angel. Angel of Heralds, the guardian that stands beside the gateway between Angelarium and the rest of existence. Gabriel's lantern points into the seething darkness. Its light breaks open the unknown and banishes doubt. There is certainty in this light. It fills you. This angel issues no command. It doesn't need to. Shine, little light, shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Oh, goodness. The impetus for action burns in you. In fact, you burn in it. Fueling this light, ooh. Suddenly you burst forth, blazing the way, piercing the dark, leaving change in your wake. There is light everywhere you tread. You are the light of Gabriel's lantern. The might of this angel does not command you, it aims you. Signs here are a lantern, a mirror, and a discovery. Oh, that is interesting. That is interesting. Oof, that got powerful. Bottom of the deck is that Angel of Mercy, though. Maybe I should have read that. It's like, I don't know. I struggle. Just being like, you know, is it anyone's fault that they are the way they are nowadays? I don't know. Angel of the West, Archangel confirmed. What was the cards before these? Wait, hold up, wait, what? The cards before these, I used, like, you mean before I did this round? I did, in the last one, I used the Kawaii Tarot and what Oracle cards did I use for the Kawaiis? Oh yeah, the Mirror Truth Lenormand. And when these came out, this was more about like someone being in a space where maybe they were hurt in the past, and so honestly, like a lot of this was kind of sort of like inner childy type things of the ways that we've adapted to survive in the world to prevent pain that we experienced as a child or to ease our transition into like life. And it was about needing to rework those foundations and so that we're not living from that space of pain anymore, and realizing and recognizing that we have the strength within us to like let that go. And the first round I used the energy oracle cards and the witch's tarot cards, and this was about strategy and us being led to certain directions to pick up the things along our journey that we're going to need along the way. It was basically about being open to be guided and needing to be humble enough to be able to be corrected by people, but honestly, like the universe, God, and spirit, and realizing that, like, God does not lead us in directions for no reason. In everything that we do, what does it say? In everything that you do, get an understanding, or something like that. Mom, that's another thing that my mom will say. She'll be like, the Bible says, in everything that you do or in everything that you learn, get an understanding. The card to use before Gabriel, the name of them. Oh, wait. Hold it. I might not be understanding what you're asking me, miss, right now. I guess I can read it. I'll go back and I'll read it. It was Zadkiel, Angel of Mercy. Kawaii, 0, those are pretty and good too. Yeah. I do want to see what this Angel of Mercy is about, low-key. I am curious. Oh, whoops. No, we ain't doing that. Hand me down my silver trumpet, Gabriel. And if you want a silver trumpet like mine, you got to do the work too. Let me stop. Let's see. I am actually interested. I think the mercy is actually going to be important if Gabriel is going to be having us out here fighting people. Gabriel is like, make sure you fighting the right enemy. You ain't fighting people, you fighting systems of thought. You fighting chains that have been placed upon humanity for eons, maybe. You fighting to free yourself and your brothers and sisters. I don't know, we'll see. Oh, it's right here. Zadkiel, Angel of Mercy. The one who meets our forgiveness and the one who judges transgression. Zadkiel is the hold up. Zadkiel is the swift gavel as well as the crushing hammer. Girl, can I hold up? Let me take a breath. I'm internally very excited right now. Zadkiel, Angel of Mercy, the one who metes out forgiveness and the one who judges transgression. Zadkiel is the swift gavel as well as the crushing hammer. Those who have sinned against your fellow man. Zadkiel may relieve you of your punishment, but in asking, you submit yourself to the scales of the angel's judgment and wrath. This is interesting because in that passage I read, it was like when Lyle had the option to serve that 30-year sentence or to be the helper to Minister Audrey and do whatever Minister Audrey says. And now here comes Zadkiel. So that's the confirmation for reading this and for reading that passage in the book when I was like, I don't know why I'm reading this. This is interesting because I've actually been thinking about this a lot lately. Those who have sinned against your fellow man, Zadkiel may relieve you of your punishment, but in asking, you submit yourself to the scales of the angel's judgment and wrath. Zadkiel sees all the cracks and seams of the soul, finds all the things we cover up to convince ourselves of the illusion of a moral existence. Zadkiel reminds us to reveal our failings openly and be judged by those that have the power to forgive. It is only the just who may make such reckoning. Signs are scales, rising smoke, and a gavel. Oof. So we may be acting right now, but we are not the judge or the executioner. We may be a part of the jury, but we're not the judge or the executioner. They do that. You have court the 10th. Good luck. Oh, okay. Miss Vernell. Gotcha. Yeah, I love these. The Kawaii Tarot. Cutes. Okay, so let's get this final angel. Gabriel, you might as well just come on out. Whip myself a trumpet. I'm just playing. With great power comes great responsibility, and honestly, if I could just fly under the radar and be happy, I would, but I don't think I would. I don't think that's for me in this lifetime. I think happiness is for me. Flying under the radar may not necessarily be. And that's fine. At least not for now. Maybe someday I'll retire too. A lovely 8 of Ariel. With the 6 of Michael. Bottom of the deck is the 3 of Gabriel. The 3 of Gabriel says, prosperity arising from wise planning. Time to take the next step and optimistic plans that turn out as expected. Let's see. There we go. Wise planning. Instead of wise planning, I'd say aligned, honestly. It's feeling a little bit more aligned, and that's why it's working out exactly as expected. When you align with the divine and when you can get behind the vision, then you may not necessarily need as many detours. The Six of Michael says, it's the light at the end of the tunnel. Breathe a sigh of relief and make new plans, relocation or travel. The Eight of Ariel says, take great pride in your excellent work. Practice makes perfect. Consider getting additional education or training. So there's a period of hard work that I feel like we've been in, but the light is at the end of the tunnel. With the light being at the end of the tunnel after the Eight of Pentacles, it's like it's a season of fruition. And like the three said, things working out exactly as planned, and emphasis on wise planning. Wise planning with determination is the key to mobility. And maybe nobility as well. So that's what I got for y'all. Thank y'all for stopping in. I hope that this was helpful in some way. It seems like it's like kind of sort of final examination time, honestly, low key. And that's awesome. Don't be discouraged. Keep all of the lessons in mind. I know there's been quite a lot of lessons probably this year. And yeah. So I'll catch y'all later. Have an amazing night. Let me read these real quick. All it is saying is judge, not, and forgive. Proper planning prevents poor performance. Exactly. No problem, Zelda. And what did it say? Oh, yeah, it said that they were making poor decisions. Excuse me. I hope. Well, I already said that, right? I hope everyone has a great night. Good luck in these upcoming times. Keep all of your lessons in mind. Know that at this point, I feel like we all have the capability to be our better selves. And I can turn my little camera on now. Y'all can't even see me. It's fine. I could have left this off. I'm backlit. Okay, I could turn that light on. That's fine. I feel like we all have the capability to be our better selves, and I feel like it's all been highlighted to us. I think we're going to be coming into a time where we really prove it to ourselves. And depending on what your weakness is, that may be the way through which it comes. So let's say you're the type of person that doesn't forgive. You may be faced, whatever your greatest weakness is, I feel like you'll have a chance to overcome it. I don't necessarily need to get into the specifics because it's going to come. And it may not even necessarily be your greatest weakness. It may just be a spot in which you have difficulty embodying a bit of compassion, kindness, judgment, forgiveness. Judgment? Why did I put judgment in there? I don't know. For the self. So yeah, them Israelites, they were really wilding. They were wilding out there for a minute. Because they had fallen to like idolatry and stuff like that too. And I actually read up on them a little bit the other day because we were talking about when they made it to the promised land and how they had to navigate the desert for 40 years. And then how Abraham was punished because he went a little too ham, because he was a little too upset at all the questions that he was getting from the Israelites. Like, he wasn't out there wandering in the desert too. Abraham was like, look, I'm literally out here with y'all. Like, can y'all please? And then God was like, all right, Abraham, go out there and speak to the rock and it'll get them right. And Abraham was like, okay, God. But Abraham went out there, put on a whole show, hit the rock with his staff, and then spoke to it. And God was like, see, Abraham, I ain't even tell you to do all that. I ain't even tell you to do all that. And, Old Testament God was kind of sort of ruthless. And so Abraham died before he made it to the promised land. I feel like New Testament God was a little bit more lenient. Because y'all know Jesus came down and he died on the cross for our sins. He died on the cross to make it a little bit easier, or a lot of it easier, to get into heaven. And maybe it took Jesus coming down here for God to kind of sort of understand just what it's like down here in the wilderness. Honestly. But then when the space of Dayat, it's like it's to be in the world but not of the world. And so there is an amount of understanding, but when you have a great calling on your life, and when you are capable of realizing that calling, and when you're in the space of the activation for that, it's like, okay, we need you to step up and we need you to do this. And again, I feel like with great power comes great responsibility, and we're in a time now of proving ourselves responsible for the great power that we're going to be coming into. And it's going to be tests of the heart, probably primarily, because I feel like the heart is the one thing that, when followed, doesn't really lead us astray. And they do say that the road to hell is paved with good intentions, but I think that's when we're still more self-focused than we are focused on helping others. So, with all that being said, I will close this down. Wait, what? Trans women? What do trans women got to do with anything? I'm so confused. Here on this channel, we stand the whole entire LGBTQIA plus community. So anything against trans women is not cool, not okay, not acceptable over here. If that's something like an idea that you hold, that's fine. Personally, I don't resonate to anyone who would think or say stuff like that. And I don't really appreciate that at all, high key. What do trans women got to do with anything going on right now? I'm so confused. Someone you know is a witch and a trans woman? And she need protection or something? Oh, okay. Well, hopefully she's safe, because people always be wilding out against trans women. People always be wilding out against all kinds of people, honestly. So hope she's doing well and believes in more than one God. Wait, what did I say? Oh, no problem. I was just like, ooh, girl, Zelda. I shouldn't have jumped to any conclusions. But yeah, you're fine. Um, well, maybe that was a little. So I guess I have a friend who I never really, because I'm not a very confrontational person, and I don't like being mad. Because when I get mad, I stay mad, and I feel like I don't know if it was ever necessarily in front of me, but I had a friend growing up, one of my best friends, who went through a lot, And I feel like there were times when I wasn't really there for her. And that's some of the things that I regret. So, speaking about them tests coming up, that was one of mine. I'm like, But I'm gonna speak now if I have to, because that it doesn't sit right with me anymore to not. But I get you, I think. All right, so I'm gonna shut this down. Y'all have a good night, and best of luck in these times. I'll catch y'all later.